the People's Podcast. What's up, y'all? This is DJ Busby, but JKD is out for the week. You know, life. That's all I gotta say. Big up my brother JKD. I'm just getting back from London.
Good for you, man.
So, you know, I'm here on the podcast, still battling a little jet lag, but that's okay.
Listen to me. Every time you look down on your phone,
Yeah. yeah.
in stories,
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like I went to England.
Yeah.
I actually had an accent for a little while there.
Oh, yeah?
Just watching your stories. Yeah,
Okay,
man.
bro.
Yeah.
All right.
It was like that.
It was a vibe, innit?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
But anyways, people, we got a special guest here today. Now, we spoke a little bit about him last week. We mentioned, you know, he's our very first ever sponsor of the People's Podcast and a podcast that we've done in general. We didn't have no sponsors with Pre-Lime, did we, Dully? I don't think so. No. So you're our first ever sponsor.
Well, listen, this is how sponsorship goes.
Yeah.
You sponsor 1 week and you're on the show the next week.
Yeah. To explain.
Yeah. Going well.
Trust me, no. And we want to thank you for that.
Anytime, man.
So
anytime.
without further ado, I mean, he's a very popular guy in the city. A lot of people know him, and a lot of people know him for one particular thing.
The horn.
The horn man.
That's another story altogether.
Yeah, so we're going to dive into all of that. But he is here filling in for JKD. We'd like to welcome Farm P.
Thank you, man. People's Podcast. You know what I mean? Always been a fan
Awesome.
of what you've been doing, you know what I mean, with the whole push for the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm not really a podcast kind of guy,
Yeah.
right? But when I came across the concept for the podcast, you know, about, you know, pushing out content, not only about the music, you know, but about life in general and how people view certain things that are very important. You know, very important to life beyond the music, life beyond the party.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So I was happy to support a young man like yourself taking the initiative to, you know what I mean, make a difference. So I say, I'm going to take my last 2 pennies.
Yeah.
I was saving them pennies for something else, you know. But, you know what I mean? It's all about the people.
Exactly.
It's all about the people.
No, and we appreciate
sure.
that, and that's just going right back into the business and growing it, you know what I mean?
Any way you want to utilize it is. You know
Exactly.
what I mean? Yeah. Anything that
So,
helps.
I mean, there's that, you know, we connected earlier this year and just speaking about investments randomly off of posts and stuff.
It is.
And next thing that flourished into like we texting daily and talking daily about.
This is for me, like, I am in no way like any kind of professional when it comes to, you know, investments and that kind of stuff. But it just during the pandemic, I spent the first 2 weeks of the pandemic on the floor in front of my TV.
Oh gosh.
The TV was off.
Yeah.
The TV was off.
It was that
Trying
type
to
of
figure out, guy. And I can't say that I had my finances in a situation where I was prepared for something like that.
Yeah.
And being a family man, the head of the household kind of thing, we had to figure it out.
Yeah.
Because you don't know where things were going, right? I had no kind of emergency fund and blah, blah, blah. And those just during that time and turning your focus to not wanting to have that feeling again.
Yeah.
Right? So for me personally, I spend a lot of time kind of researching like what are other people doing? Not everybody was in my situation. Like, you know, some people were just comfortable.
Yeah.
So what was the difference between their economic situation and whatever I had set up for myself? So,
Absolutely.
you know, just like researching, going on YouTube University, as they say, right?
The freest and best university.
This would be the freest and the best university, guy. Trust me. And the information is out there.
Yeah.
The information is out there. So, I mean, anybody at this point could, if once they have the interest, right, could actually pull the information that could put themselves on the road to whatever they want to achieve.
Exactly.
There is no barrier anymore, right? So
there's none of that, and it's all accessible by your thumbs. There's no excuse. That's the main thing.
Because it's all on your phone, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and you always have time.
Yeah.
Right. So.
And it's amazing. Just one post about investments, and we developed a bond off of that. So
100%.
That's something that within our community, people, as much as we say we don't think about these things, certain people do.
Right.
And all it takes is that connection
100%.
to really let things flourish into a whole different space.
Yeah.
You know, and besides investment conversation, we talk about life in general.
Very true.
And as I said last week, this is somebody who I hold to a very high regard when it comes to thought processes and knowledge, and especially from an OG standpoint, because you're older and have experienced more.
Pardon?
If you don't want to say your
Listen,
age.
2 years will make me that much older. I'm trying to say. You know, so, but hey,
So is that I look too old or you look too young? Which one?
I'll take the too young.
Yeah, okay. But you know what? That experience comes with a lot of wisdom that as a youth in the game, and I would consider myself as such, as you said earlier.
Yeah.
Guys, you gotta shut the F up and listen sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes as a younger guy, don't think you know it all.
Right.
Shut up. Listen to somebody that has more experience than you.
Yeah,
even if they may not be right 100%, but some of what they're saying, you could extract certain pieces of it, and for a fact, certain things you're saying are
because
right.
I mean, from a young person's perspective, I think if I could harken back that far, when I was that age, you know what I mean, and then I had a little past and thing, you know what I mean. I know what it's like to be in a situation where you know it, you think you know it all, and you're just going through life with that kind of bravado, right? Yeah. And you don't take time to listen to the older heads. But as a guy who grew up in a small village in the country, right, the bounce was always to whatever you did during the day, you run ball in the evening, exercise, take a bath, and you come back out and we lime. Yeah. And our particular lime, we had different generations liming on the block, right? So it kind of gave me an understanding of there was value in people who had experiences. Gotcha. And it didn't always have to be like formal. Yeah. It didn't have to be formal like a teacher or someone that's a professional in any particular. People that just had life experience, right, could give you valuable input that could say, oh, it's like that. So maybe I don't have to go down this road. Maybe I could go down this road, right? So shut up and listen was always kind of my, because I always say you could take talent from the youngest child. You know what I'm saying? The youngest child have a perspective that you might not have considered before. Yeah. But the only way to extract that is if you shut up and listen.
Bro, let me tell you why what you're saying is such facts. My niece put me on some game the other day. 100% little 8-year-old brilliant child. Yeah. But I am just sitting there in awe at some of the little things that she says, and you just sit there and just reflect on your whole life after that. Yeah. Like for instance, we were watching, I think it was the Olympics at the time. Something was going on TV, and she's like, I'm just like them.
Really, eh?
I think they were swimming or something.
In regards to like what specifically?
Whatever they were, the way they were swimming and how good they were at it. Okay. She's like, I'm just like them. So I, as a joke, as the joking uncle, right? You think you're just like them? You're exactly like them? Yeah. She turned to me and said, well, they started somewhere. You see? I had to sit there and shut up and be like, wow. That's good. Just how powerful the way she said it too. That's good. She put me in my place. Yeah. And next one now, what was it? So it was that one with the Olympics. Yeah.
Oh, she's giving me more game.
More game. Right. Yeah, this one. She start playing this next game on her iPad. You know these kids are little iPad geniuses now. Sure. She on the iPad and I can't even remember what it's called. Imposters maybe? Either Imposters or Roblox, something. But it's one of those where like you could join a virtual room. Okay. And you slowly wait for people to start to join into your room. Right. And then you play the game with those people. Oh, okay. So she's sitting there and waiting. It must have been like 10, 15 minutes. I didn't know if anybody's going to join this thing. Right. Because she doesn't have the know-it-all to make a proper room and this and that. I see. But next thing you know, one person joined and she started jumping for joy.
Oh, she created the room.
Yeah.
So right. So she's inviting people in.
Yeah, or just leaving it to see who comes in.
Who comes in.
Or one person randomly off the internet joined. She's jumping for joy. Right. I'm so happy about this person joining. Yeah. And all she said was, I just wanted one person to join. I'm so excited. I'm sitting there feeling like every time I'm on Twitch, I'm like, oh God, 30 people. I wish I had so much.
Oh, it's a sit. Right. And she's happy that she got the one. Right.
Her heart's so excited and think just off of one person. Right. So it forced me again to sit there and be like,
you gotta be grateful.
Exactly.
You gotta be grateful. Yeah.
I could be sitting there in that same shoes with no people hoping for one to tune in. Yeah. I'm being privileged talking about 30, 40 again. I wish I had 100.
You gotta begin from somewhere.
Exactly. Yeah. So my needs, like the youths and all, not as much as OGs, the youths could give you a lot of good advice. Absolutely.
It's all about listening, you know. Yeah. You know what I mean? That for me, I've realized over the years, 40 years. Yeah.
That number keep changing, you know. You gotta keep track of these numbers.
Listen to me, get pen and paper. It gonna get interesting. I realized over the years that situations repeat. You understand what I'm saying? So someone who has had that level of experience to get to a certain age, right? They were exposed to a certain level of experiences, right? So here you are coming up behind. What do you think is going to be? What is going to come at you? That's going to be you're going to be relationships. It's going to be financial. It's going to be, you know, whether it's taking your parents from them taking care of you to you taking care of them. You know what I mean? And what comes with that? The problems, the issues, and if you don't have necessarily someone or a system to turn to, you're experiencing that for the first time. But what happens if you have someone who's been through it that you could turn an ear to? It doesn't have to be always a professional, right? But because, I mean, we don't necessarily share information as openly as some other communities, right? That you find each of us are going through the same thing for the first time by ourselves, and it's overwhelming, can be overwhelming, right? Yeah. So that's why being able to communicate in the community or with other people, whether it's older, as you say, even your niece, you know what I mean? And when you communicate, have an open ear to actually find value. Find value in what she might say instead of being dismissive. Because somebody else might say, girl, stop jumping up. You know what I mean? But you were able to rock back and say, you know what? There's a lesson here. Let me take the lesson and move forward with that. So next time you have 30 people on Twitch. Not to say that happens often.
Exactly. You know better.
You know the feeling. Yeah, you know the feeling. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that gratitude, right?
Which is very important. And, you know, to add on to what you said, it's imperative to have that conversation, because I know a lot of you out there have been in that situation where, like, you've been feeling something, a certain type of way about something.
Absolutely.
And then you go and speak to somebody about it. It may not be a professional. I mean, I would always suggest professional help.
Absolutely.
But it may not always be that. You might not have the money for that. But simply speaking to somebody. How many times in your life have you done that? And then that person's come back to you and they're like, well, I think you answered your own question.
Right.
So just speaking these things and getting it out and then realizing what you're saying is in itself a step in the right direction. 100%.
Like even the aspect of some people are hesitant to go to a professional. Let's say if it's something mental or, you know, you're going through the pressures or whatever, right? Because there's a stigma attached to it. Like you're going crazy or a psychiatrist who's going through that. More rum. Pass me rum. You understand? Or but again, like if you have someone in your circle, don't hesitate. You know what I mean? Someone that cares about you, or it might just be a casual acquaintance that might just give you an air. You know, always feel free to express yourself. And that kind of opens you up. If you feel a relief, right, from unburdening yourself about any particular situation, someone who might be close or even just someone, a friend, and then multiply that feeling if you reach out to a professional. Because you have an unbiased platform. You know, it's not someone that's going to judge you after, or you're going to hesitate because
or be a yes man to you,
or be a yes man. Exactly. Because that's a very important point. But you know, because your friends might be just there to support you and tell you what you want to hear. And sometimes what you want to hear isn't what's going to get you over the situation. Exactly. Right. So you know.
No, and these are all important points of conversation that we need to start having in the community. Another thing too, that farm may likely be responsible for. I can't say 100% sure yet because papers aren't signed.
Okay.
But I purposely wore the My Toronto Carnival T-shirt.
I see that.
And this man here might be the reason that I'm back on the road and I haven't been on the road in Toronto.
You're supposed to be on the road, Buzz. Come on, man. Yeah, man.
6 years. I couldn't take the bad business in the lower bands that I was accessible to.
Okay.
You said your piece the other day to your band.
Right.
They reached out to me, and this is one of the biggest bands in North America.
When they say my band, the band
that you are associated with. Words matter.
I mean, listen to me. At the end of the day, it's Carnival Nations we're talking about, right? I actually consider that my band, but from the perspective of the same way you might have you like the Lakers, you know what I mean, or whoever, football or whatever. That is, I was there from the inception of the band, right? So it might not be my band pen and paper, but as the band a champion.
Gotcha.
You know, even before I had a section, I was a Nations man. You know what I mean? In the community, there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody have their affiliation, right? And that's what makes the thing fun. You defending nation, I defending nations, you defending tribal. Who with revelers, that's all part of the bacchanal. Carnival is bacchanal. You know, but it's all to a positive end. But at the same time, yes. So if you're going to be on the road, you Buzz going to be with nations. Right?
And that's the thing. Another couple big bands in the city called me, and that's a testament just to the work that I put in the COVID. You know what I mean? In the quarantine.
Definitely, yeah.
And it was a time where none of these bands were even thinking of me.
Okay.
I reached out to a couple of them, and they weren't taking me on.
Really? Wow.
So now it's to the point where I'm getting phone calls, and it's a demand and fighting for me.
Listen, the contract done sign already.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
okay,
listen,
the contract, yeah.
Tell
So
them better bands.
Farmer already done tell me, he said, listen, I submitted your name to them. They really want you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But because we asked you first, I would hate it if you go somewhere else.
I mean,
I get it. I get that.
Yeah,
I would say the same thing.
For sure.
Right? So that's another additive to my journey.
But again,
and I appreciate that. Thank you
even
for
from
that.
the perspective of having people in the community who are doing things, right? I believe they should be involved. If you have a talent, I mean, come on, give yourself exposure at the highest levels, which caravan on your road. I mean, you can't really exclude yourself from that opportunity, right?
Yeah.
And everybody who is contributing, like even this podcast, right?
Yeah.
And you're a DJ, we are each one teach one, each one lead one, each one help one, you know what I mean, on that same bounce. We need to see that Buzz B brand on the road.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that goes for anybody, actually.
Yeah.
Anybody who has something going on in the community that might be higher profile, or even we may not know about. There's no way you can know about everything.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Caravan and Carnival, I think that's one of the aspects of the festival that isn't highlighted. There should be a portal where there's more community involvement from people who have like smaller businesses and that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Because I mean, we have the attention then, right?
Yeah.
We have the attention. There's 1 million plus people coming into the city. There's a lot of money being brought in. You have to find a way to. I mean, this conversation is a bigger conversation. I know if you want that conversation.
We could go on all
right.
2 hours.
I don't want to take over the podcast. It's all about the people's podcast. Right?
I got you.
Yeah. Just filling in for Jay this week. So
as I said, this is a guy who I hold in high regard when it comes to thoughts and ideas, and he was hesitant about the podcast game. But nah, forget that. We're not letting that talent go to waste.
Yeah.
So eventually what you're going to see is him being incorporated not only in the People's Podcast, but as I've been saying, my mind is expanded way beyond these fets.
Yeah.
And I see this being a full network.
Yeah, for those who don't know, they might just see Buzz B as a DJ or Buzz B as a Twitch DJ, right?
Yeah.
Man, you have a good brain. You have a good head on your shoulders. Yeah,
Appreciate that.
As a younger guy coming up, I could see the potential, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, these days, really and truly, it's limitless.
Yeah.
You're really only limited by how you perceive, right? How you perceive yourself, right?
Yeah.
So again, if you're reaching for the stars, why not? Because anything is possible, right?
Yeah.
With the technology necessary. I mean, we're practically on TV.
Literally, we're making our own.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. But a lot has been generated during this era with much less.
Yeah.
There's the people who broadcast just from their phone, and their reach is unbelievable. So,
and I've been battling with this idea in the past too. Like recently, it was, I'm from a certain demographic, being a second generation. Past, like my parents are West Indian, had me here, and I'm a second generation.
So you're not Trinidad?
No, Torontonian.
Toronto. Well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Second generation.
But
nice,
still,
nice.
even with being within that realm, people always look at it as such a disadvantage.
Oh.
But when you look at certain guys that have really thrived in like the hip hop industry, for instance, these guys have sold drugs, went to jail, the whole nine, and have had way worse circumstances on a ground level before they blew up.
True enough.
So why can't we?
Yeah, exactly.
Just because we're in the Caribbean shouldn't confine us to a certain. No. At one point they were telling Tyler Perry, your films aren't good enough.
And to your point, it's all about expanding your own concept of your possibility.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? Okay. I mean, no one tells you. I'll be very candid about this, right? Like, for me to even be sitting here, right, considering how I came into even Canada, like, how we started. We all started from nothing. Like, I thought they're a small village in Point, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now to be on the People's Podcast in front of millions of people, it is like amazing, guy,
Facts.
with a whole makeup crew. You took it into existence.
This man told the makeup girl, once you do my makeup, you have to give me your number. It comes with the package.
Listen to me, I have a card with it on it. She asked for proof. I can pull out a card and show she had a sign. And if you touch the face, you had to leave the number.
You see him?
I just say no, but so it just shows that there is no, people don't tell you that you can.
Yeah.
Right? And it's literally, you know, as a first generation immigrant to Toronto, right? You know, I mean, you come with the West Indian mentality of once you get a work, like, because that's Trinidad. Once you get a job, you hold on to that job as hard as you can, because that's going to take you through, right? But there's no North American is different, right? You understand what I'm saying? Like, there aren't as many limitations in terms of employment and so on. So you can jump around. So you can try this and see if you're good at this. You could try that, right? So, but even that, as I understand, it took me the longest while to even jump out of my first type of employment to say, well, you know, I wasn't really happy here, and maybe I could do more, right? But so to jump forward a couple of years, you know what I mean? And when my entry into entrepreneurship, because, you know, we have the events and then promotion and that kind of stuff. And that's my, side hustle. It's no longer a bad word to say I have a side hustle. Long time side hustle means you're selling doubles. I just say it, right? Come from me, I have a side hustle. You go to work, you go be a change up the tail, you're selling nuts in the savannah with the film. That's bad. That's it. You know what I mean? But no, side hustle is a legitimate thing. Everybody is
it's recommended.
Everybody's now encouraged to have multiple sources of income, right? Okay, so, but I was encouraged, because literally it's hard to see yourself and your potential from the inside, especially when you don't have an example that you're following. Let's say your parents aren't entrepreneurs or that kind of stuff, right? So it actually took an aha moment. I was on the phone with a good friend of mine, and they say never really, you know, try and have friends smarter than yourself, right? You know what I mean? And
they said never have friends smarter?
Well, unless you want to be... Always be in a room where at least you're not the smartest one, on a consistent level. If you're the smartest one in the room, then change your friends.
Change your friends,
right? If you want to elevate, you know what I mean. So, and it's because it came from him, and the way it came from him, with no jest. He says, "Fam, you could do more. You know, you could do it." And something about how he said it just kind of opened the door, and I just really took everything that I had in my mind as a possibility, as a reality. And there was no turning back after that, you know what I mean? But my point, although it's been long, is to realize that don't let your circumstances dictate your potential. You know what I mean? Don't let your early programming limit where you can see yourself at the end. You know what I mean? Because not everybody has someone that's going to tell you could do it. You know, and really mean it, and really come from a space where it's not about them. It's actually them telling you, I see something in you that you don't see in yourself. Right? And there's not a lot of that that's accessible to a lot of people. Right? So it happened for me. You know what I mean? So I'm talking from experience, you know what I mean? So, and literally I come across people, and I could sit back now after a couple of years being out there, and I can see talent. I can see talent. I can see talent, and I can see, I wonder if this person knows that they have the ability to literally do way more, right? And it might just be turning that one key that could happen for myself, right? So, and I find because that's why I love Carnival in Toronto. Was you yawning?
It's the jet lag, boy.
You're gonna get to I want to hear this English story.
We come to that.
This is one point.
Oh,
okay.
do you? We hear, bro.
We hear, we like, man.
Yeah.
I feel there should be some alcohol in this kind of thing.
You see the white oak. I see the white oak.
You have a hostess to serve that?
Well,
no. I was just things. I am master make, but I ain't gonna throw off that mask. I love the people's podcast, but go until 4 anymore. 5 more costume to make this for a bad launch. Bad launch is next week, you know.
Yeah.
Bad launch is next week, you know.
So you have to make sure.
All the jewels on, I don't fall off.
Got you.
Right. So, but to just round it up is like, I mean, I just. For what the value of mass for me, I mean, you don't know that going in, but because you have a section, you encounter a lot of people. I sit in a mass camp for 4 months, and people come through, and people tend to gravitate to my table. I always have the music going, you know me. I don't have 2 personalities. What you're seeing here is what you're seeing in the camp, you know what I mean? So when you go there, water, you leave it without mask, wear your bag, you sign up, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff. So it gave me a lot of, an opportunity to interact with a lot of people. Right? And through that interaction, I realized that we have high achievers in the community that you wouldn't really know just looking at them. You know what I mean? But really high achievers, people who have different sectors in the and really operated on a high level, but they carry themselves normal. You know what I mean? And we're not. So I say that to say that there is no circumstance in the community where we could see these people in terms of them giving us inspiration to do what they or have access to what they have access to. You know what I mean? There is no meetup.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Carnival is a meetup, but one of the, I won't say a downside, but we party hard, right? Like, there may be a situation where if you see 400 of us gathered, there's a sound system and there's soca playing. There's no real opportunity for communication in a sense. You know what I mean? To say, well, like, what do you do, or what services are you involved in, or what's your side hustle? Yeah. Maybe there's a synergy there. I need this, you have that. Let's make an interaction, right? So I think that's another thing that drew me to the podcast. Just the way you and Jay were being very candid about your own journey, right? And I mean, I always have something to say. I always have something to say.
As I said, I sit down and listen, and
I always have something
of value.
to say.
That's good.
The more rum, the more value. So next time, I accept. Right now, you're getting no rum value. Can you imagine? Can't give all you. I don't only have budget now.
2 bottles next time. You get 2 bottles next time.
That's it. The higher.
Got you.
No, but I mean, you know what I mean? That's why there's value, especially because podcasting and the way you spread it among the different portals. So you have YouTube, you have Apple Podcasts, right? I mean, the way you guys are possibly going to be able to impact the community of someone who is along the same type of journey, right? You wanna start somewhere and you wanna end up somewhere further ahead, right? At that point. So what are the steps? You want to own a home. You had Jasmine on last week, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
I mean, I watched our podcast. I actually reached out to her.
Yeah?
Yeah, I reached out to
you
Jasmine.
See? You see how he said too? You see? This is what I was talking about last week.
Pause. I just had to say how impressed I was with her presentation.
That's what they call it.
Yeah. They still call it presentation. They still call it a presentation. You understand? Right? Yeah. So how impressed was with her presentation and her information. Yeah.
The information,
That
was around information.
Pause. Before, watch out. I'm so impressed. Before I press send, I spell check information. Information, papa. You understand? Because you dealing with people with a high level.
I got you.
You want to misrepresent yourself. First impressions count, right? First impressions count, right? So
I mean, she has free counseling,
She has free counseling?
Yes.
See?
You have to get pre-approval first.
You have pre-approval too?
I want to get pre-approval.
You want to get
Yeah, I'm going to have a meeting with her just now. You mean?
But you ahead of the game, boy.
Well, I am doing it not for the information or presentation, but to actually land real estate. Get into the game.
No, but I mean, all jokes aside, I mean, her information was, and the way she presented it, and the way it was fluid, and I am always impressed when information comes from experience, right? Because I always say, to kind of measure the if you're going to take advice from someone, you want to take advice from someone who is where you want to be. So I'm saying, King. So men on the block sometimes they're fronting. Yeah, it's like, boy, I 6 house, boy. You have keys for 6 hours.
Yeah.
You understand? You have keys for 6 hours.
The owners of each of those houses might not like each other if they only knew.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, and the way she came across and she was able to take it from her early journey, right? From when I don't think she was started off with real estate. She was looking for something and she ended up in real estate. And then she was before they even had a name for house hacking. She was house hacking. She was renting her 2 rooms. I think her sister was in one. I did listen, you see? I said I text us.
She was the sexy substitute teacher in school. You don't listen to the regular teacher. Ain't nobody listening to me and J Kitty. But when Jasmine come on now, all of a sudden everybody's smarter.
Okay. I always know when they see a substitute coming in, everybody should press.
Yeah.
Nobody sweaty. Yeah, that's how I say, Buzz. You know the trick.
You have to watch YouTube for that one.
Oh, yeah. What?
That part was YouTube worthy.
Yeah. Everything crisp. Yeah, that's how I say it. So I know your point. I'm not saying that you make a good point there. Facts. But her information and the way she was able to articulate, I mean, coming from someone who, as she says, from the community, right? We need more of that.
Absolutely.
We need more of that. People who are where you want to be.
Yeah.
I mean, like I'll say it again, situations repeat. So if situations repeat and you are where I want to be, let's have a conversation. Sit down and if you're willing to share, like, what was the mortgage process like?
Yeah.
Like, what does it take to qualify for a mortgage? You know, some people, I remember when I started off in an appointment on the West End, Keel and Wilson, right?
Yeah.
And for me, I have my own apartment. I thought that was it.
Yeah.
I'm
Coming from where you come from,
Coming
yeah.
from as an immigrant, you have a key to turn. It's warm in the winter, you know what I mean? Renting, what's wrong with renting?
Yeah.
You understand? And then I got married. And my wife was from Canada, and her expectations of what a family looked like wasn't renting on the West End. You know what I'm saying? So, but again, there was not. I'm telling you, I did happy to be a little warm. This girl coming, boy, we get in the house.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Now you gotta step up your game.
You gotta step up your game, right? You know what I'm saying? And what is that process like? And this is before information was so easily available. You know what I mean? So like, what's a mortgage? What's the mortgage rate? You know, how you sign papers? You get a lawyer. It's like, guy, I'm not doing all of that. You know what I mean?
Too much.
But push through.
Yeah.
You know, you run into the fire and you learn.
Yeah.
So I say that to say, if I am where you want to be, ask. You know, what was the conversation like? You know, like, what was that first? And it turned out, funny enough, this is a while back, not that far back, but a while back, right? You know what I mean? That it wasn't that much more because the down payment was able to minimize the monthly payments, and it wasn't that much more than renting. And then owning is a whole different level because you're building equity and that kind of stuff. And you know what I mean? But again, a conversation. So someone who is, so if you're looking to do anything, you know what I mean? That's I call it a system.
Yeah.
A system it's really a hack.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you want to be somewhere, find someone who is where you want to be.
Yeah. And
then find a way to drunk on them and get all the information. Yeah. Listen to Ramapause.
Yeah. I know. Of all people, I know. I turned Superman with that rum, you know. Wait till this story.
Buzz.
Wait till this London story. Wait.
Okay. You know, but again, like, because situations repeat. I have certain things. I don't know anybody who follows me on Instagram, at FarmP, by the way. Yeah. Right? I have a Tuesday where I post something, and that's kind of random. I have certain things that I say over to myself to keep myself as evenly keel as possible, which is a struggle, right? So anytime I come up with something like a saying, it's almost like, I don't know if you call it a saying, but anyway, I started to write them down, right? And then I would revise it, just flick it and see what it lands on, right? That was my own kind of thing. And then I said, I'll share it. Yeah. Even because actually conversation with yourself, I as a man is keep to myself. I shouldn't even be doing this. Yeah. Everybody know the horn, man. You understand what I say? Bacchanality
But
place.
no, again, like when you see this man blowing horn drunk in a party, you would never expect the kind of conversation we're having here.
Well, that's true.
No, period. And it's not to say disrespecting to you, but it's just what it is.
I almost drove it.
Yeah,
boy.
Vice versa, you see a drunk buzz sitting on the floor in a party, you might not know my background and my history. So that's why it's so important.
Yeah.
And I think to expand on your point and to put a button on that, the most important thing about what you said was getting access to somebody who's where you want to be. But like, I know this is what your intention of what you wanted to say was, but the most important thing is not to just ask. Just to reiterate this value is to say, not only ask, but what can I do for you?
Absolutely. Service.
Get in with them.
Yeah.
Provide a service. Provide what can I do to benefit what you're doing?
Listen to me, that's a very important point.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's reciprocation.
Yeah.
And that's actually called like a system in the I don't know how high we want to go the conversation, but giving and receiving, right? It's like the yin and yang of things, right? That's why I hesitated. I don't know how. I know people podcast.
Go in, bro.
You want to go in?
The
energies of life.
But you call it something, the gems or whatever. No.
Oh, we come to that. Come natural. Don't worry about that. Yeah. But what to Buzz's point, and it's an excellent point. Giving and receiving, right? There's a tenet in religion, right? There's a lot of the religions have that, and there's a reason that, although they're not connected, that is present in a lot of different aspects of different religions, right? Because it's actually nature at its core.
You say
Right.
giving and receiving. I'm sure a lot of people just got a little excited downstairs
I did
because they
actually.
understand.
I say it up here, but my mind drift. Buzz, you ain't easy, you know. You're selling me out there trying to stay serious. I say giving and receiving, and my mind slip.
Yeah, I know.
You understand?
I see how you slow down a little
yes.
bit. Yeah. I see that.
You selling me out there. You man selling me out there. What?
But ladies, you know, you don't want to give unless you get. And
So again, nature, right?
Yeah.
Situations repeat. So to your point, physical giving and receiving is probably one of the essence of life in a sense. So again, situations. All right,
I got you.
Situations repeat, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
again, bringing it full circle to what we're talking about, be of service. The easiest way for someone to feel that they would give you something of value is if you give them something of value.
Yep.
Right? Another life hack. Busby's life hack. Give it and receive it.
The people's life hack.
This is the next the party coming up, man. The party's coming up tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
right? Tomorrow,
yeah.
right? What do they call the party?
Soak a sleepover.
Giving and receiving.
Yeah.
Giving and receiving. Oh God, Buzz, you slick.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, you slick.
Yeah, that's the next tagline of the next Soak a
that's
sleepover.
giving and receiving. I hear you, partner.
But it's facts, you know. You can't just ask.
You can't get a
Sometimes you could, and if let's say an older man has been analyzing what you've been doing,
Yeah.
or an older person in general, and says, "Okay, this youth's working,"
Right.
and you ask a question, they might help you.
Right.
But it's not always that easy. Not everybody's willing to give up this information.
True enough.
Within these last couple weeks, I found out certain things and certain aspects about business that I've just been sitting here like, why haven't the older guys like passed down
before
this knowledge?
Yeah. I mean, again, it's human nature in a sense because people want to be, they want to be defensive. You know,
Yeah.
I've done this. I've come up the hard way. Why should I give up? You know, make it easy for you. I mean, in some aspects of it, that's human nature. You know what I mean? So I don't really penalize anybody for having a particular perspective because going back to point on the block, every front door have a back door.
Yeah.
You know, there's never only one way to achieve something. You know, it depends on how much energy you're willing to put in to what you believe is for you. Right. So again, because you talk about hacks, right? So let's say you want to achieve something and your circle there's no one in your circle that can give you access to somewhere you want to be.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's seminars, there's podcasts. You can pay for information.
Yeah.
And that's another hack. It's only recently that I would spend more than $1,000 to get information. You understand? But really and truly, that information is a portal to hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Exactly.
Right? So there's nothing wrong with, you see all these, trust me, after 1 o'clock in the morning when you see, hey, so-and-so, buy this, buy that, online, every time you follow something financial, you might get 2 or 3 things about a seminar coming up or a real estate seminar. Let me teach you. It's always on TV. These guys coming from the States, guys that are established here in Toronto. People from the different communities, right? Right, on the other communities. The other communities that will tell you exactly. Yeah, I ain't Jay, no white talk. Jay, I shouted you out. No white. Listen to me. When the man say whitey last week, I almost checked.
I should have muted that. I know you. Anyway.
It gives the thing flavor.
I know, yeah. But just stop it, JKD. Stop
JKD. Whitey.
Yeah.
I say, oi. 2022, you can still say that?
Oh,
That is what I'm saying. So.
Right, yeah.
But again, just to say that if you have an interest and you have the drive, don't let nothing stop you.
Oh,
You may have to save a little money, invest in yourself. Investing in yourself doesn't always mean buying a new Nike. Investing in yourself, you pick up more girls with a new Nike. No, that's the same. But investing in yourself, if you have a dream, give yourself an opportunity to get in the room. Give yourself an opportunity to get around the information that's going to take you from where you are now. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't even have to be. I'm interested in podcasting. What I tell you, I got an intern for the people's podcast.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's my interest. You get the benefit of my superior intellect. Yeah. You know what I mean? But again, literally, if I am reciprocation, right?
Yeah.
But again, it now gives me, well, funny how I come here to be an intern in a sense, right? Just to get a feel for what it would take to produce, let's say, a podcast. Like I see podcasting and I follow a lot of podcasts, right? So I wonder behind the scenes. But at the same time, you act, you go, and you find someone who's doing it, and look what God does. He just turned the next now on the mic, and out of nowhere.
And now you're getting to see it from our lens. Like
absolutely.
We're not saying we're the best by any means, but we've done a lot of podcasts.
You guys, the whole pre-lime, you know what I mean? That was I caught one episode.
Yeah.
Is it available still?
No, I had to take that all. Not too much. I took it down.
Too much lawsuits.
I had to
too much liability exposure.
All that, too much.
Gotcha.
But even still, like I wanted a fresh start with it, just to show where our mind is at now, and not have that skewed by the older stuff. You know, we came here and we lived our life and we spoke our truths. So I will never regret that. But certain things, you know, you just simply can't come on a platform and say.
Ole like me, wondering what they used to say on that free.
Well, Skippy would
know. The man say he take it down, and I saw the man go and said archive or available. The man say he clean plate, boy.
Took the broom on the World Wide Web and cleaned up.
We cleaned it up.
Yeah, we cleaned it up, but we had to. But no, it is what it is. Like when I see certain other podcasts, I sit there taking notes. So I may not be in the room, but I'm just watching how they do what they do. Certain little intricate things I think could be applied here. And moving forward. But besides all of the bells and whistles, the most important thing is the foundation knowledge. And on top of that, like I would always be the one to champion somebody that has an X factor. So you could sit here and present a bunch of knowledge, but your bravado and your way to make a joke and your way to connect to people on that level is something like you could study all of that knowledge up and down. You could read the textbooks of all the information you're giving. But that X factor, I don't think you could study that. I don't think you could buy that. That's what I champion. And when I see that along with the information, that's what we're trying to bring into this network. You know, and we talk about weekly subjects every week that are reoccurring.
And I like it. I've been watching the podcast. I mean, the first episode when JKD was talking about his journey into real estate. You understand what I'm saying? And I mean, I was surprised how open he was about his personal stuff, right? But I also saw the value in it because there's a situation where someone who might have been hesitant, especially with the prices of real estate in Toronto right now. So I mean, for those who, were hesitant before, now you're looking at $1 million plus. And that's just to get average home in Toronto. Like, what's the reality of me? What are the steps that are going to be necessary for me to actually enter into the real estate space, right? But guess what? Every front door have a back door. Apply the rules, all writing this stuff down. You know what I'm saying? There is no spoon. You know what I mean? If you really want that for yourself, but then you have to examine it on, is it necessary? Right? Because real estate in its
it can make your house poor, like Jasmine was saying.
Yeah, but exactly. Right? But it's a forced savings in a sense. Like when I came up, it was a way because you build equity, you know, and the appreciation in the home itself, right? You know what I mean? And for people who not necessarily going to be very economically, in other words, plan their economic life specifically, right? You understand what I'm saying? Here's a situation where at least if you buy a house, guy, you have access to a certain amount of money and you have everything that comes with owning real estate. There's a lot of advantages to it. Like if you want a loan later, you could use it as collateral and that kind of stuff, right? And no other vehicle gives you. That's why they say real estate should be one of your first purchases, right? But at the same time, as you say, there's a situation where you might be house poor, especially if you're buying in now. I saw on one of the postings a piece of property, maybe 1.2, 1.4, $7,000 a month is the mortgage.
Okay.
You understand? At the current interest rates, right? You know, because interest rates just rise the other day, right? You understand? So at what point does a two-person family with kids, with a car, a dog, a cat, and we fetting every weekend, where you get an extra $1,000 to pay for a front door? That are renting the washroom. I'm telling you, are renting the washroom.
Rent space in the fridge.
Rent space in the fridge. You look at my fridge and see Santos. Excuse me, close the door of the house. You know that? Water. Hey, okay, whatever, close it door. Yeah. You think it's Buzz, $7,000 a month?
No.
What?
Not me and that.
How?
Not me
How?
and that. No, you can't. Unless
Unless what?
you're rich.
No, well, this house hacking guy.
Oh,
Jasmine rented every room.
Yeah.
How you start is not how you finish, King.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying, I mean, in a sense that it may not be for everyone, but if you don't do that, what you're doing with your disposable income to make sure that you have the advantages that the real estate would have given you on a regular, like, because let's say you were forced to come up with, let's say back in the day, $4,000 a month, maybe $3,000 a month. You know what I'm saying? Now you don't buy a house, right? So you don't have the advantage of what real estate would give you. You have that $3,000 as disposable income. How many people have the discipline to invest that? You know, because you could be, if you invest it properly over time, you market,
Yeah.
You understand? $3,000 a month, that's not going to a mortgage, and you're renting. Like I was back on Keel there, you know, $600 a month, and a nice one.
Yeah.
New shoes every weekend. Boy, talk, king. Buzz back in the day.
I can imagine.
And that's how I see. Boy, it was was a long You understand?
Jiggy.
Right? But again, it's a discipline. And a lot of people don't have the not a lot of people like, I didn't have the understanding either. I always say whenever I go into these type of conversations, I'm not talking down, I didn't know nothing.
Same here.
Horse.
Yeah.
They keep the information from us.
Yeah.
You understand? And again, because we don't have conversations with people who are where we want to be, you're just floundering. It was really the pressures of having and being responsible for a family that made me really take stock and try and understand what this financial game was about and what was necessary for me to be more financially stable. Because remember, I just described, and even with that in mind, right? I just described a situation like who could have predicted COVID?
Yeah.
Right? So now I wasn't financially prepared, right? So now I have to say, okay, how are we going to adjust here? So I throw two more party and we down the road. Two more party, let's go party.
But that could have been a rock and a hard place situation that forced you. So that probably saved your life, bro.
I'll tell you what it did do. It really made me apply a certain level of intensity to understanding the game. I would never have done that if I didn't have those 2 years, year and a half, and have the shock of spending 2 weeks on the carpet with the screen of the screen.
It's a black screen.
Miguel is like, you get up from there? I'm like,
Yeah. You're scared to go back to reality. Yeah.
You don't know what the reality would have been. It could have easily gone a way different direction.
Oh, yeah.
The government jump up and all of a sudden, the bank, the Fed open up everything.
And I don't
money flowing.
I don't mean to scare you, but it still can.
Well, this is
These
your point.
things are still possible.
Look at this war that jump out on nowhere. You know what I mean? That still has an impact on everybody all the way. Look at the gas prices. So everything is kind of connected, right? So as to your point, anything can happen at any time. So what do you have in place that if things, is there an absolute way of protecting yourself? But you want to do the most. You're responsible for people. You're the head of a household. Or, even the head of your own household. You want to make sure that you have certain things in place so that you don't end up in the cat food line.
You're absolutely right.
Cat food and ketchup.
You could clearly see that the world's a crazy place right now, and you need to be, what's the word? Putting your ducks in a row?
You need to be putting your ducks in a row.
It's as simple as that. Like, I had this conversation yesterday with somebody, and I was speaking on the fact that I'm reducing the amount of FETs that I do, in-person FETs.
Okay.
And that extra time that I have, I'm going to utilize to focus on online.
No, we need online what?
My online platforms.
Oh, your platforms.
And those growing and becoming self-sufficient.
Yeah.
Because this happened already.
Right.
3 years ago, if I told you this would have happened, you would have called me crazy.
Absolutely.
You understand? And it happened. It could easily happen again.
Yeah.
It's still happening. As much as people want to say COVID is done, this is still actively happening.
Yeah.
We're talking about new variants happening right now. We're talking about certain places going back under lockdown.
Right. Right.
These things are possible.
Yeah.
So
No one's talking about what's going on in China.
you see?
You know what I'm saying? But yeah,
We'd rather not because we're tired of it.
Exactly. Absolutely.
But that's why I'm like, and I would encourage any creative focus on online right now.
Right.
Because as you said, you can't fully protect yourself, but at least if your online is straight, if they lock down venues and stuff again, you're making money still at least.
True.
But figure out how to do that to the highest level possible.
Yeah.
And that's where I feel like people's attention should be focused.
Okay.
You know?
Okay. All you guys take note, man.
Yeah. Write this down.
Take note.
Write this down.
From your friendly buzz.
Friendly neighborhood buzz.
Friendly neighborhood buzz.
But anyways,
man.
people, this is the People's Podcast. Before I share my London stories.
Listen to me. We started off in London,
yeah.
and then we deviated.
We didn't even get into any talking points.
Well,
that might as well be a separate show at this point.
Listen to me. This is the People's Podcast, but this is your show.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to fill into Jay. Keep the bones, keep the bones going. So
definitely.
Jay gonna be back next week, people.
Yeah.
Don't think it's anything. And I gonna be in that chair watching.
Yeah.
Notes and thing.
No, we really appreciate it because life happens sometimes, right?
Absolutely,
so
absolutely.
We thank you for subbing in for JKD.
Anytime, man. Anytime.
And he was happy, like as I said last week on the podcast with him, we sat down and linked with you, and he was very pleasantly surprised with the conversation and dialogue we had just sitting down having wings one night.
No, you know what? And it's funny, right? Because I gain as much value from those conversations. I mean, like I say, experiences are important, guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like I might be doing, a lot of the talking. I could talk. I could really talk. Yeah,
believe me, it's better you can't, especially a platform like this, it's better you could talk a lot than not enough.
Oh, God, like, make zone, boy. Buckle up, people. Buckle up. No, I'm just joking. No, but like I say, like even those interactions, don't think it's like, oh, you guys walking away with. But I always sit back and I replay the conversations and I try to find these spaces where I can improve. You know what I mean? Even from the aspect of listening. You know what I mean? Like, that is such a valuable tool. To leave the space for people to translate their thought from their head and reconstruct it into your head using words, right? And the only thing and not everybody is as articulate. Trini and Canadian, they need to articulate. Articulate. That's what I'm saying. But it doesn't diminish the point. Right? It doesn't diminish the impact that their point or what they're trying to say might have on you. So the value is to hush. Right?
Brings us right back to that.
You have to hush. Yeah, listen.
Listening is key.
Yeah, communication is key, horse.
Communication, not just listening.
Yeah, absolutely.
Almost anybody could listen, but to understand that, comprehend it, and communicate it back, that's a different game.
Say that
important
again.
one.
Say that again. You had to get them
if
down.
I could string the words back together.
You say it exactly.
Yeah,
but the sentiment.
Instead of just listening, understanding, comprehending, and communicating that back is key. That's the key. You know, and having these conversations, as we keep saying, within our community is important. Now, by no means, this is a very informal. I wouldn't even call it interview. It's just a conversation.
Buzz, I want slippers. Okay.
Yeah,
it's about informal. The man in English with a pair of shoes.
No,
the man say, come, like, do a podcast. I check the outfit. I try to match up. Buzz meet me and he don't have slippers. It's like, dude.
This is the beauty of online. We don't have to be dressed from the waist down.
I guess so. Hello. We won't be dressed, right?
Yeah, we dress.
Okay. Is that kind of
just my toes out. Just my toes out. That's it.
Toes out.
But, this is not like a formal interview where we're introducing you and studying your career. That'll be another day. But you're in the fold, and these conversations that we have with you, or that I'm having with you right now, we have behind the scenes.
Right.
So I just found it fitting that as JKD can't be here, in order to give you guys content for another week and not leave you high and dry.
Right.
It makes sense.
Yeah. Listen to me. At the end of the day, I hope you guys are getting some sort of entertainment.
Absolutely.
And information. You know what I mean? Because again, it's a life experience, right? So I mean, everybody is going to go through it. At some point, you're going to want to. I mean, I don't want to say elevate or take yourself from one financial situation. I think we all want to try and get more. Yeah, you know what I mean, for whatever reason, whether it's provide for your family or just to what. And then what are you gonna do to get from here to there? This is what you're gonna do to get from here to there, and not feel that you can't. Yeah, because there is no spoon. There's no can't. You know what I mean? The only thing stopping you from getting from here to there is our first step.
Yeah.
And trust me, that I know for myself how hard it is, right? To want to be somewhere that you're not, and to be fearful to take that first step. I tell you, my partner, again, it's a blessing, and God does sleep, and that is another conversation, right? But people come into your life sometimes at the right time, saying the right things for a reason.
Yeah.
You understand? Turn that key. But again, to your point, you have to be willing to listen.
Yeah.
Right? So how much impact that moment might have on you is what you do next. Right? So if the man tell me you could do it, and I say, that man just drink, you know what, I ain't doing that.
Yeah.
Nah, but something about how he say it just resonated. You know what? I could really do it to the king.
Yeah.
All the best parties, family parties, and
Let me and
section and
yeah,
and many other things, but that's another conversation
for another day.
For another day.
I mean, and to that point, like, I won't get into too much detail, but I just had a conversation with somebody the other day.
Okay.
And not saying names, but I spoke with this person, and it was an extremely enlightening conversation.
Okay.
And along the lines of like the business of this and owning a corporation and how to do your taxes properly and utilizing certain things to grow your business and make more money.
It's interesting and it's important, and I'll say it, that you're even as you say it, you already perceive yourself as a businessman and your whole DJ career as a business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because some people, I don't know, I'm not a DJ, but some people don't even make that in terms of incorporation, incorporating the business and doing the taxes and so on. And they don't make that transition, but there's so much value in doing that, King.
Exactly.
And some people don't understand the difference between having a corporation and or just running a side hustle.
And that's what he was showing me.
Yeah, King.
And I'm like you said, some people don't realize that. I didn't realize that.
I didn't realize it either.
Ago, you could have. I was just throwing something and making a little change and hoping it busts.
Yeah.
That was my mentality.
Right.
Now that I'm ready to receive the information, he listed the blueprint of questions that I've had for so long. And it was a random conversation
really,
that like me and him don't even speak like that.
Wow.
Out of the blue, me and him start, and he's saying all of these, like, bro, when I say he listed a blueprint, and like something that I've been boggling my mind over, and he has all the steps.
Yeah.
So hear this now. This is where you really start to see where people's minds are at.
Okay.
He told one of his good friends all the same information.
Right.
But he said that person is not picking up on the business side of things. Right. And that person literally told him, can you just run the business for me and I be the talent? And that's been sticking out. Apart from everything we spoke about and all the amazing knowledge I gained, that part has stuck out to me the most. And I felt like, bro, like...
So you received the information, right?
Exactly.
And but to act on it, right?
If you took that information and acted, you could soar.
Well, I mean, yeah.
But you're fixated on, I don't know if it's the fame or just the talent and you want to zone in on that.
Right.
Understandably, that guy's very talented at what he does.
Okay.
But he's telling him, well, can you just do the business? And I said, you go ahead and tell him that. I will take all the business that he's giving me and soar.
And it's something that may be, that you might, the fact that it's coming from a peer. Someone around your same age. If I don't know, I know you ain't calling
around the same age.
Around the same age, and here he is with that information, and so you're receiving it from someone who you consider, well, they're but for the grace of God go I. So if he could do it, I could do it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And that's important in the conversations.
Yeah.
Right? Conversations
and then
and having a community and being ready.
Yeah.
You can't beat preparedness.
Because you telling me all you tell me, if he told me all the things he told me when we sat down a couple years ago, I'm not hearing that.
You're not hearing that, yeah.
I'm just worrying about how I'm going to ram soak a sleepover.
True.
That's
true. Preparedness isn't true. Is a key part.
All of that. So it all ties together. But the point is to be able to open your mind to be able to accept this information and be in a place where you could hear certain things and then take from it.
Right.
Build on it.
Good.
And grow with it. Because sometimes like you listen to a full podcast or you're sitting down with somebody, maybe a financial advisor, and they sound like they're talking Spanish to you.
Right.
Because certain things is not in your vocabulary. Absolutely. And then you have to go, okay,
and
what's
again,
this? What's that?
Buzz, that's part of the game.
Yeah.
If they gave you the sense that you could do it, you wouldn't need them.
Yeah.
I had a financial advisor.
Yeah.
Man come to me, Buick, pull up, boom, alligator shoes, boom, briefcase, back, thing. Oh, I clean up the whole house, carry running around, my girl, running around, ting. Financial advisor. Well, he handling the money. He's an important person in our system, right? sit down, ting. Well, COVID happened, and I ended up digging into something. I said, but wait, I don't really need this dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm paying him. I think I can afford to pay this man.
Yeah.
This man is eating into what might keep me out of cat food. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
With the alligator shoes and the Buick.
Yeah.
You understand? I'm literally, my little money is helping to mind this man's family.
Yeah.
I can't afford to mind somebody else's family. I have my own family. So how hard is it
Yeah.
to learn to do, not on a sophisticated level, on the basic level, just so I could eliminate that extra that's going towards somebody. I mean, no disrespect to feeding the listen, it's a job.
Yeah.
And like I've heard someone say, it's better than doing nothing, which is true.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? If you're going to invest long term, have someone come in and guide you through if you're not going to take the time to learn what the basics so you're confident that you're not giving away money, because it's tricky.
Yeah.
It's like anything else. Would you just open your hood and start to pull out parts from your car? No. You have to be able to depend on someone with a certain level of expertise. And if you're not willing to take the time to learn yourself, you call a mechanic. Same thing with your finances. If you're not willing to time to learn, but how hard is it, to your point about the terms and so on, that is what creates an opportunity for them to come into your house and give you the thought pattern that you can't do what they provide. Right? Because it's, this analysis and, stocks and the changes and the blah, blah, blah. And you're depending on this person to take your money and to provide you a reasonable retirement if that's your, if that's your portal or whatever, right? But again, you're paying them. What happens if you keep all your money and you create a simple system that's going to provide you the same kind of thing in retirement, right? Yeah. So, I mean, it's not hard. It's not hard.
It's all risk assessment and what you're willing to learn, what you want to learn.
Listen, that part was a little boring. We're going to go back to the room. That part was, I see people tune out a little bit there. You're gonna, listen to me. Without further ado, how was England, boss?
Oh, gosh.
Talk.
Well, England was a very eye-opening experience. Wow. I think the most important thing that I took from England is the fact that in-person networking and in-person.
Wow, I didn't expect you to say that. That's the most important, really. Yeah,
most important.
Talk the talk.
Most important is understanding that in-person connection and being in the right place at the right time is key.
Wow.
A lot more stuff will happen as a result of those things.
Okay.
So the networking, like for instance, certain people that I've networked with over Twitch, over online during the 2 years, is a certain level.
How'd you end up going to England?
So that our guest that we're about to have in a few minutes, he actually, he'll explain the story, but long story short, he had an opportunity to go there through work.
Oh, you did mention on the other cast.
Yeah.
Right.
His wife and daughter couldn't go.
Yeah, but you see, you saw the opportunity and you jumped at it, right?
I didn't at first.
You didn't at first?
I didn't go and buy flight now to London, England. and
upon his shoes.
And then, you had to go and get, you had to buy food every day, whatever the case. So costs will add up. This wasn't the trip I was expecting.
Right.
When I go places, I'm very calculated with that.
Okay.
Save up for a certain time. And
Right.
But this was just like a week I had to figure this out.
Understood.
So I got the opportunity. The opportunity was there. And then I was sitting playing games with DJ Judgment out of Montreal. Big up Judgment. And when I was playing, we were on the microphone and he was just like, bro, just take it. You're getting a free stay.
Okay.
Why don't you just try and look for a gig while you're out there? See what happens.
True.
So I'm talking to Tate through Twitch. I met him through Twitch. We video call and stuff, but it was never anything where we like sat down and had a serious conversation.
Okay.
I asked him, are there any opportunities out there for the weekend? I'm going to be there. He said, what? You're coming to London?
The London town.
So then and then he tells me one of the artists, Pajo, who was also involved in the Twitch, and I know him to a level. He's having a fete on the Saturday night.
Okay.
He had the event, and it was a free thing.
Okay.
Where free entry with a ticket.
Right.
So it wasn't anything like I'm going to get an opportunity to get some sort of pay. I'm just going and asking for a chance to play.
100%.
So I do that.
So that was your first gig. So you got there when? You got there Thursday, Friday?
I got there Friday morning. Their time.
Okay.
About 8 a.m.
Oh, okay. So you had the full Friday.
Yeah.
That's good.
Full Friday. Yeah. But then again, the jet lag and not being able to sleep properly.
Yeah.
It played a toll, right?
Right.
I played a gig, not realizing what else is going on in London.
Okay.
That same night was a band launch with one of the biggest bands in London.
Carnival bands.
Oh,
shit, you see?
So it had a lot of the biggest players in the UK in this building.
Okay.
So after the gig ended at 12. That Bus Pepper, it's called Bus Pepper, the people that run it.
Okay.
I think it's Amanaya or something, so that the band does. Anyway, we go now, that thing's finishing at 5 a.m. So it's time now to leave from where we are, go there, and still watch the costumes. And we heard it was a party / presentation. So we go. So many people from the industry are there. I'm bouncing with people I've seen before. People are saying, hold on, you're Busby?
Right.
What are you even doing here? People didn't even really expect me to be there. And then on top of that, just going to party and lime and mingle.
Sure.
Fun fact. So those of you that follow Soca, or just in general, if you have Instagram, y'all must have seen Follow Soca post this controversial video of 2 women on stage in costume.
Okay.
One of them was getting a little frisky.
Okay.
Started licking in the nether regions of another.
I did see
you
it.
saw that? Yeah. What was it? What we call it?
Bacchanal post?
No, the information and what was the next one? The information was amazing. But she was licking down that information.
Hey, sir. It's about to be a different podcast.
But that got scrutiny. They got flack for that.
Yeah, I
and
mean,
so many people worldwide saying, "How could you do this? This is disrespectful."
Right. So, what are your thoughts? Come on, man. You were there.
Should she have been licking down there on the person? I don't think so.
People costume.
Exactly. Get up and do like you would do on the road. This is not a burlesque show or whatever the case. This is
how did the people react who were there?
No, it was just but it was a bigger crowd, so I couldn't really tell if there was any like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but even like I said, the person before her was the real like headlining story.
Oh, really?
This person, they put like something that looked like a shower head on stage. And the shower was coming down.
Toronto, we had an up your game, boy.
Yeah. The shower was coming down on her costume and makeup and stuff.
This was a band launch?
Yes.
So what's the theme of the band?
Amanaya, I don't know, but it had a lot of water, so I mean, but still,
artistic license.
But still, she was on the ground and the water was pouring on her like she was in a shower and things. Right. I feel like that should have been the headline.
Yeah, I hear you.
If anything,
so it had more bacchanal, than what actually got attention and interesting. Yeah.
But our special guest is finally here, late as always, so he could come in and interject.
Yeah, man, I see.
Because he's just in time too for the actual heart of the story. All right, guys. Well, we got the special guest that I was just talking about in the studio, the People's Podcast. Want to welcome
magically beamed him.
Yes. All the way from the UK, bro.
From the UK,
in it.
We have this wanker. His name, Prod.
Listen to you, nutter.
Whoa, what's going on, man? How's your?
I guess I'm still on London time, right?
Exactly.
I'm PST, so I'm. What time is it now? It's like 3 a.m. now.
You're still on London time.
Yeah, a little bit.
I hear that.
Little bit in it, bruv.
Yeah. So I gave the brief version of what the reason I was out there. But what you want to give an elaborated as to why you even got the opportunity to go out there?
Work actually. It was my company's opening, or they actually had a very small shared office workspace there. And they're expanding out there a little bit. So
gotcha. And then you wanted to make it a family trip with your wife and daughter, correct?
I tried to do that, but my wife unfortunately my wife had school. She's near the end of her second semester. She's doing very well with her 4.4 GPA. She wanted to maintain it.
Standing ovation, Keisha.
Yeah, for sure. So she didn't want to try to risk that, of course. So I was like, even though it's online school and you kind of, it's asynchronous, but still you don't want to risk dropping the GPA, of course, right, and losing the honors. So it was unfortunate because I really would have liked for us all to go to London and make it a family trip because, of course, I'm only going to be paying for their flight. The hotel is covered by the company and food is somewhat covered by the company. So
no, that's good. And I mean, with that being said, you presented the opportunity to me to tag along with you to London.
Not really. You just squatted. You just tried to get packed in the luggage with me.
He literally called me about three different times.
So no,
three different times. He called me and said, "Yo, I'm wondering why you want me to come on this trip so bad at one point. I'm like, do you get some sort of incentive out of me coming? Like,
yes, I was going to sell you. I was going to sell you.
The type of man he is. Yeah, he must have got some kickback off of my going because he wouldn't have called me like that. But either way, I said, you know what? At first I was hesitant, like I said earlier.
Right.
And it took DJ Judgment, who doesn't normally have logic of reason.
And no sense whatsoever.
No.
Lack of sense.
That was the one time where he's like, bro, why don't you try it?
Yeah, try it.
Try and get a gig.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. And I said to myself, you're right.
You know what? He was due for one. He was due for one sensible thing. Of all the things that Judgment says, he was due for one sensible thing, and that was the one.
That was the one.
But actually, you know what? To be honest with you, I was actually kind of trolling you. I didn't expect you to go. I was kind of trolling him because when he went to London, he didn't have the greatest experience in terms of lodging and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
So my thing was, because the company's paying, I was able to get a 5-star hotel. So I'm like, this is what I got. 5-star hotel. It has the bidet. It has the heated bathroom seat. It has the heated bathroom floor.
Oh my God, that heated bathroom seat?
The heated bathroom floor, when you come out the shower, you just step on, you're just like, I'm not, it's tile, but you're like, this is warm. This is nice and toasty.
They made heated bath seats.
Yeah. Well, I knew that.
The toilet seat was heated.
Yeah, I knew that, but I
didn't know that existed. I'm buying one as soon as I get a chance.
You didn't know
that was amazing.
Those are good. They're just always on.
The heated tiles, I knew that, but
it was.
So
nice.
no shock.
I wear these. I wear the slippers all over the place. So I don't need no heated towels.
2 o'clock in the morning
when you get there, it comes with slippers, right? They give you slippers. And they give you bathroom slippers, right? And mini bar included as well. What? When we say Chase, and he's like, I'm gonna go get some. I'm like, go get Chase. I'm gonna go get Chase for. Just call them downstairs and get some more replenishments. That's all. Just call them and say I want some Cokes. And within not even 2 minutes, they're knocking on the door and just like, here you go, sir.
Whatever you want, they're ready.
When you ready to travel.
Very good service. So getting all of those amenities, I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah. So I didn't expect that. I was just saying, like, look, this is what I'm going. And the cost was a lot. We won't talk about the cost, but it was a couple $1,000.
Right.
Just for like a couple of days of work. It was a good amount of money. Wow. And I didn't expect him to come. I didn't. And then he's just like, and he sent me, he's like, this might work. I'm making some arrangements. I was like, oh, okay. Well, and I guess the joke is not going with it too far now. And then my wife was like, yeah, you should go with you because we're not going to go and you're going to be there by yourself. You'll be with another colleague, but you'll still kind of by yourself, right?
Understood. So
it makes sense if he can go with you. Like there's space in the hotel room. Why not just
opportunity knocks?
Yeah, why not? And the biggest thing is whenever you travel, the biggest expense isn't the flight. It's going to be your lodging, right?
Okay.
You might fly somewhere for probably you don't have family there, but you might fly somewhere for $1,000. But when it comes time to actually paying to stay somewhere, you might be paying $100 a day, $150 a day. Right. That's what kind of adds up, right? Yeah. So, those things that's the added cost. So if you just have to fly out, and because thankfully for him, he doesn't have a specific time that he needs to leave. So he can go like on a Wednesday when it's cheaper to fly. And you can return on a Wednesday when it's cheaper to return. And then, you get like the best amount that you can, they for your buck, right? So
bang for your buck, yeah. No, and it was amazing that even came about. And again, Judgment was the one that spoke reasoning to me to say you could try and get an opportunity out there besides going and spending time and touring and whatnot in London.
Right.
So I did that, and I had the vacation. It was very thin. Like I literally, after I took that trip, I have 1 extra day besides all the days I need for my international gigs. So I had the 3 days that I could take.
For your, I'm going to say like how short because you have it planned out for the whole year, right?
So we have certain stuff coming up in the year that I need those dates for.
Right.
But these were 3 extra days that luckily I had, and I was about to take 2 days, and he Pran encouraged me to take the extra day, which again was a huge part of the experience and story I'm about to share. But I ended up going down to London. Hear this, man, huh? This is why I tell you this man is a freaking scam artist, Before I go, the man say, he's talking. And again, I'm like, why are you giving me all these incentives and whatnot? So then he say, oh yeah, well, when it comes to your transportation from the airport to the hotel, yeah, don't worry, I'll pay half of that. I'll help you out in that way. I'll be a nice person.
Remember what I said? Remember what I said? My exact words were, I will pay half of your transportation from the airport to the hotel.
Listen, so what do you take that as? Let me ask.
Whatever you're gonna spend
on what?
Transportation.
So what would you say is transportation?
Well, I don't know. It's England. What's available?
This
Well,
man,
okay,
after I buy my
hold on.
flight, After I buy my
It's
flight,
England.
this man
Okay.
tell me, okay, well, you can just take the subway. There's no
Oh,
problem.
you taking?
Okay, hold on.
I said
Okay,
two,
hold
you're
on.
gonna give me $2.
First of all,
to
it's not
take the
dollars,
subway,
it's pounds.
And you still haven't
It's
given
pounds.
me the £2.
You didn't get? Did you get the
Pause.
bill yet? You get the bill yet?
What?
Did you get the bill yet?
Oh yeah.
What bill?
The bill. Yeah, you didn't give me the receipts, the
But I
invoice.
filed
Yeah,
taxes
yeah,
at the
I have
end.
receipts.
Okay, send it to me, so I'll reimburse you.
This
Here's the
man-
thing, though. Here's the
oh,
thing,
you
though.
gonna pay
No,
off
here's-
for
no, hold-
Uber, huh?
no, hold on,
For
hold on,
taxi.
hold on, hold on,
This
hold
man
on.
tell me you can take the subway. It's easy.
the subway.
No,
Yeah.
Don't mind-
the
don't
subway
mind
is
that I
better though.
thank him
It's
for
better,
that.
but it is better though because hold on. When we checked the time to travel, let's reel it all back in. Let's reel it all back in. What time was your flight arriving? 6:35 a.m. Correct?
I'm
Yes.
thankful.
No,
No,
listen,
I'm
let me-
agreeing with you.
Don't agree with me.
I'm
Just
thankful.
let me beat you down now.
No. Watch how I beat you back down.
No, none of that.
Go
I'm a
ahead,
guess.
go
I'm a
ahead,
guess.
go
I'm a
ahead,
guess.
go
You can't
ahead.
be done. You
Guess
can't be
what?
done your
Guess
guess.
what? Guess what?
So you guys come at 6:35 a.m. So it's gonna be morning traffic. It's rush hour, right?
Oh, rush hour. Right.
So by the time you get to the airport, it's like 7:30 or so because Heathrow's pretty slow.
Okay.
You get outside, and then from there you got to take a cab, whether it's Uber or one of the black cabs, and it's gonna take about an hour and a half, 2 hours to go. If you take the subway, the tube, there's shuttles that go from Heathrow to I can't remember which if it was Piccadilly or whatever it was, and then take another tube, and then it brings you to London Bridge Hotel, which is where we were, by London Bridge.
So
No,
the
it wasn't.
exit.
It wasn't shuttles. It was legit like
But
station stops.
yeah, correct. Yeah, but there's the one Heathrow line that brings you up to Piccadilly, I
Yeah.
believe it was, and then from there you just take the rest. It's just
Yeah.
one more tube, right?
Yeah.
And then you're out by London Bridge, which is
Piccadilly to Green Park, and then Green Park to
Park.
where we were, London Bridge.
London Bridge, which is where we were, and then
Right.
from there it's like a 5-minute or so walk, and then that's all it was. So it was pretty simple to do. The only concern that I would have would be because it's the subway. Is that there's people that are there, and like I said before, the Omicron BA2 variant is rampant out there, right? And they don't wear masks. Like when I'm wearing a mask,
They're wide open.
He about to throw me into the deep
they're
end
wide
now.
open like. I have to be clean now, right? I have to be clean for this.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, I was gonna say something, but
You can talk after.
we can talk after
Yeah,
exactly.
sorry, yeah.
But yeah, but like when we were wearing masks, like when I'm walking in the street wearing a mask out there, people look at you funny and just like, you must be a tourist. You must be a tourist. Oh yeah, they know. They know.
Oh, they
Everyone
know,
out there is just.
Night and day.
Really,
You can
eh?
tell a tourist. You can just tell because they'll be wearing a mask,
Right.
and that's it. They're wearing a
Or
mask.
even probably have their luggage with
Yeah,
them
they have
too.
their luggage. They have their luggage too. But the journey is wearing. They can tell just when anywhere you go, people wearing a mask. You just tell. Yeah, you're probably a tourist,
Wow.
or you're just being very safe, very very cautious. Most
Right.
times it's just people just.
It's back to normal, full life.
Yeah. So even on the subway,
Yeah.
it's not even a rule there. You can just, when
So
we got,
even though they have that variant that's kicking up right now, there are any restrictions at the hotel. No.
no, there might be some in terms of hospitals, but I did notice when we got off the plane, the staff of the airport were wearing masks.
I didn't see that.
I saw that. I saw most of the staff that I saw in terms of the support staff and the airline staff and the actual airport staff were wearing masks.
Okay.
And security as well wearing masks. But I did notice when I returned it was a little bit different. It was a mixture. But when I arrived, that's what I saw.
Right.
But and then I believe our cab driver actually was wearing a mask. We had an Uber though, so that's probably part of the company rules as far as Uber goes. But generally, there's
Public was just wide open.
it's nothing. So that's my concern, which is like you're on the subway, people might be close together. I would say to wear a mask. But otherwise, it was probably a very easy trip.
So you're gonna give me $2?
You see him?
Once I get that receipt, I will reimburse him the half
The man need
that
receipt.
I owe him for the
Farm.
transportation.
Okay, are you fit? I let you speak, huh? Are you good?
I'm depends what you say. I might have to rebut it. Go
Farm.
ahead.
No, I let you speak.
I don't know what you're gonna say, so I'm
Farm, I'm gonna say the truth. Farm.
Truth?
After this man told me about, I'll pay for half of your transport,
Right.
and then tell me take the subway. So that's what £2 this man want to give me in order to take the subway. Hear this now. When I say no, but I'm flying, I'm coming off a 7-hour flight. I don't want to be on no subway with my
drag in
bags.
your bag.
But
One
to
bag.
his point, okay,
One
I let
bag.
you speak. To
I'm
his
just gonna
point-
correct you.
To his point, I agreed
Right.
that at that time the subway was a better option.
Better play.
But the type of person that he is, he gave me this big long lecture for him. Oh well, you should be taking the subway anyway because you should look at the landscape and look at different things. When you're on the subway, you
Why
can
are you on is it not underground?
underground. No, parts of it are overground. But he's saying just get out there in the city and you can look at different things through the subway
Hit
lens.
the ground running.
I don't
So
remember that
I
excuse.
say-
That's a good excuse. I remember
I
that though. That's a good excuse I made though.
But I say, okay, Fine, I'll take the subway. So when I get there, I know he arrived first before I got to London.
Right.
So I asked him, okay, well, when I got out of the plane
Right.
and go into the airport, where's the subway? I don't know. Somebody picked me up. I said, you piece of shit.
I had a lot of luggage.
You speak English, you figure it out.
After that whole speech about I should explore the city and this and that, take the subway, this man said he got picked up. You piece of shit.
I would have preferred. Actually, I would have if they didn't have so much luggage. If I only had one carry-on and a backpack, I didn't have my actual check bag. I probably would have said to take the tube as well.
Right.
But we had a lot, and it was also
The man wanted to give you the experience.
Yes,
He didn't have himself.
and also,
He-
mind you, I was with a colleague. My colleague that I flew in with as well. He wanted to take a cab, so
right.
I wasn't gonna be like, okay, let's just take the subway. And he's like, I didn't know him very well at the time. We're on the same overall team, and I'd work with him. I have to get to know you with him and work with him a little bit in terms of different projects, but not actually work with him in depth. So I wasn't even sure how it was gonna work, but. As we went on, he's a pretty cool dude, right?
Very cool dude, yeah.
So now if I known what I knew then, I would have been like, yeah, let's just take two, whatever.
Right.
It was different, right?
Yeah.
And especially since it's a working relationship, you got to be careful.
Was that your first time to England?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, first time, as far as I recall. I don't know if I was ever brought as a child, as a baby, but as far as I know, it was my first time ever to England. Yeah.
This is probably one of my pet peeves of the whole trip. Let's speak about the flying aspect of things. So I noticed, okay, first of all, I never had to fill out this arrive can thing. Where you have to fill out.
Is that what it is now?
Yeah, it's a certain document, then you get a QR code
Right.
when you arrive back in Canada to scan to get through.
Right.
Sometimes.
Sometimes apparently.
I didn't get it.
You see, and I'll get to this point. I had to fill out this arrive can thing. I do it. Okay? I'm going down to London by myself. I get into the airport. Start to do the check-in process. From the time you check in and get on to
This is coming back to Toronto.
This is going to London.
This is going to
from
London.
Toronto
so
to London.
You go to the airport, you have to fill out the form to go to London.
No. You have to fill out the arrive can thing to come back. But that will tie into the story later.
Okay.
But I get to the airport, board the plane. They're extremely strict on masks on the plane. Literally to the point where about every 20 minutes, a stewardess is walking up and down, looking at every single face. And if your mask is even a little bit below your nose, excuse me, sir, can you please if you don't have a mask that fits, we have plenty masks for you.
I got naive. How long a flight are we talking? How long?
7 hours there.
So you're sleeping and they're waking you up?
So on my flight going down, the person behind me was a short, middle-aged lady that could not stop poking her knees in the back of my seat.
Yeah.
Like aggressively too. And it was to the point where when I turned around to tell her something, she was slouched down in the chair like this.
Oh.
I was livid. I had to speak to her 3 times before I raised my voice.
Maybe she knew who you were and you didn't play one of her requests.
Anyway,
from Twitch.
no. But the fact of it is, like, she was one of the reasons where if I was sitting straight,
Right.
I would have had the worst possible flight ever. But luckily, my whole aisle.
Well, I see that on. I don't know. I see. I only posting.
Yeah,
I feel like I personally went to England.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I'm
good.
saying? London town,
Yeah.
thing, London bridges,
Uh-huh.
couple museums. I know what happened after the party. I was kind of.
No, we can't put that on Instagram.
You can't put that on Instagram.
Only fans. No,
Man,
but
at that time, but
yeah. But
Lies.
the fact.
lies.
Yeah, no, I'm kidding. But
About the walk. You didn't even go on the walking tour with me. It's a whole other thing.
The what?
A walking
okay,
tour.
you really want
What's a walking
to you want to come on this platform and get owned?
We're not there
You
yet.
really
But
wanna
keep
get on this
going
platform?
your story.
So anyway, the fact that they were so like strict about these masks
Right.
on the plane pissed me off. Because you're selling every single seat on the plane, and we are sitting literally shoulder to shoulder. It don't matter about what mask you have on.
Right.
That air particles, whatever the case, is getting through.
Right.
The fact that we could sit there and smell that the food is coming alone should tell you these masks aren't sufficient enough.
Right.
So you're being
What
so
mask did you have,
strict.
though?
Huh?
What mask did you have? Did you have a K95?
No. I had the blue, the three.
Yeah, see, that's why I've made sure. When
but
I'm
even
The
still-
dollar store man.
Yes,
basically.
when I found out I was going to England that same day, I went and made sure I got some KN95 mask. I was like, that England, I'm not playing with that one.
Yeah,
So,
he gave me 2 of those masks, and they were actually really good. But I say all of that to get back to the point of you guys are being so strict. They were literally threatening the fact that you could be charged $5,000 to $6,000 if you refuse to comply
Oh wow.
with wearing a mask.
What airline? You mean
Air
Air Canada.
Air Canada. Wow.
Like they're doing all of these things and they were being aggressive with people. Excuse me, sir, I need you to put on your mask right now. When the food comes out, they're serving it one by one to everybody. When the food's in everybody's hands, what happens? Are they going to eat through their mask? Everybody on the plane at the same time for 20-minute spans have their mask off.
What was interesting though is that when they bring the food to you, so you're in your row,
Right.
and they're dropping food to everyone, and they say you have to wait until the whole row has food before you take off your mask. So everyone has food, but the thing is for me though, because I'm vegetarian, right? So I get a special meal.
Right.
So the special meals come out first before they bring out the carts. So I have this food now, and I'm just like, I don't know if I can take off my mask yet because no one else in the row has their food yet. But my food's gonna get cold, but it doesn't matter to me though. But it's just like an interesting concept of I have to wait now for them to bring out the food for everyone before I can even open my food to eat it.
Yeah.
So
It's just like the way they were being so serious about it and literally threatening people a $5,000, $6,000 bill was absurd to me. And when you really understand what's going on this plane and the fact that people are shoulder to shoulder and you're seating people in every seat possible, do you really care about COVID? Because if there's 3 seats and you are that strict about your COVID rules and whatnot, eliminate the middle seat.
Right.
Put a window there between people.
Don't sell it.
And create space.
Don't sell it. Yeah.
Don't pack us into a plane.
Is that a legal reason why they have to have the mask on, or is that Air Canada's policy?
It's legal.
Okay,
So that was where the fine would come from.
So you have to think of it if would Air Canada be fined as well if their customers are not compliant with it? If it's a federal rule or an aviation rule.
I get what you're saying, but wherever this rule came from is nonsense.
That's why I like my friend Judgment. He was fighting for my freedoms.
Well, he was in the
Freedom Convoy.
Freedom Convoy. My friend Judgment. Nah.
But
Nonsense.
point of what I was saying was simply your rules don't make sense.
Right.
You guys are enforcing these things and being so strict for what? If you were really that serious about your rules, you would eliminate the middle seat between people, create space, put a window, and allow
It costs too much money.
But it costs them how much money?
It costs too much money to do that.
If you eliminate that seat on a plane, how much money is Air Canada going to lose?
They were doing that at the beginning, right? They were limiting the seating capacity.
They were
first.
spacing it out.
But if you're that serious about it, still.
Yeah, but to your point, once you're going to eat, then you should not serve food based on the fact that if you're eating, obviously you're going to take your mask off. Then so how do you be so intense on one side and still allow food to be served?
I don't know. So all I know is that that was my experience.
COVID had a lot of crazy swings and twists. So
Facts,
you just have to just survive the time and keep it moving.
got
So we
my
going on
free
about these
alcohol,
parties
so-
or what?
Yeah.
Listen to me. I'm interested in your plane ride and the knee in your back. But you go there, you're in 2 different parties. I see X amount of women coming and going. As a single man, I don't live vicariously.
It was fun.
You know what I'm saying? Another one, boy. Boys having that time. Another one, boy.
Somebody told me, look, well, you're going after all of them, huh?
Right?
Just line up 7 for me. I'm coming on just now. So
the fete.
Yeah, we did.
Yes, the fete. Yes, this thing that happened again.
We did the whole tour.
So
and then
Saturday night was the first fete. But you
Yes,
went
the Saturday night.
from the lounge or whatever it was to the band launch.
Yeah.
And you were doing a lot of networking and that kind of
Exactly.
stuff. And you met a lot of big players.
Facts. So
and then you went home with the girl and you the next day and everything, and then the next night Sunday night.
You're missing
And then yada yada yada, and then
I had to wait for him. I had to wait for him to be here for certain parts.
for certain parts, I wasn't a witness to anything that you did.
When we went to the first party, I DJ'd at.
Right.
We got there late, partly because he came back from the walking tour at a certain time. Okay. I got up late, so those things we just needed the rest in order to go to the party, at least to rest ourselves a little, get ready and go.
Right.
So we get ready now. His boy that he said works from here that went down to London with him.
Yeah.
He came with us on the Uber. We all took the Uber to the party.
Yeah.
We got to mingle and talk, cool peoples. But we get there just in time to see 2 DJs before me switch to the DJ before me. So we heard the DJ before me play, and then I was to end the night.
Okay.
So I only got there for and I only got time to myself and the people for 45 minutes.
Oh, I see.
So once I was there, it's to put down jacket, go and get drinks, mingle a little bit, and then next thing I know, I'm being tapped, say, 15 minutes, and then you're on.
Yeah.
So that was a little discouraging, but it was our fault at the end of the day for getting there late.
Late, right? So you wanted more time to mingle and relax.
Yeah,
and-
because people literally legit came out there
came
just to see
Buzz.
me. Yeah,
What?
I had about like
Buzz
4 or
Lee,
5.
International
My
Buzz
colleague is
Lee,
like,
but-
this guy's a celebrity out here. Does he live out here? I'm like, I'm like, no, he doesn't live out here. I think people just came literally just to see him.
Yeah,
Wow.
literally.
Yeah, he was very, my
What's that?
colleague
What
was
do
very
you?
surprised. Yeah.
That's because of Twitch or
Twitch, 2 of them, a couple of them way before Twitch.
see the importance of
Yeah,
branding it,
Exactly.
giving yourself opportunities. Okay.
and then other ones because
Yeah.
of Twitch. But
Right.
and even the gig itself because of Twitch.
Nice.
So yeah, the opportunities and branding is important.
Yeah.
But still, just being able to mingle and talk to them.
Sure.
Like I went on to play, and then
Right.
one of them came to me like, "Are you ending the night?" I
Oh.
said, "Oh my god, I feel so
What
bad."
she look like? What she look like?
Yeah,
I can see to your eyes. Ask that question.
the little twinkle. Yeah. But I felt bad. But at the end of the day, she understood.
Right.
So I'm playing now, and the DJ before me, on it. Well, Pran, you could give your views on that, but I would say he was like playing for himself.
I'm not in the industry, so I can say trash. I shouldn't say trash.
Please, thank you.
You might have to edit that out.
Are we playing everything? Is this like a regular night? Or is it a soca oriented Caribbean? It's a Caribbean
specific
vibes.
event.
Okay,
Yeah,
Okay.
I would say that it's one of those things where someone can play the biggest songs, but if they're not hitting right, it doesn't matter.
True.
You play all the biggest soca songs you want, and people were just not feeling them at all.
Give him buzzwork to do, boy.
You know what? It
made my job easier, to be honest.
It was literally night and day.
Oh wow.
Person was DJing, and like I said, big songs. There was no intro to anything. There was no mic. There was no mic skills.
There was no
Right.
mic. He didn't pick up the mic.
Oh,
He pick up the mic.
No.
So it was almost, I don't want to say laziness, but maybe just he doesn't
Yeah, I
he doesn't
mean,
maybe
yeah.
he just DJ doesn't mic. Maybe he normally has a mic person or whatever the case might be.
Right.
But it just was very bland, and there was like almost like there was no personality, no emotion to playing. It was like playing just to play, almost like you could have just put a computer and just have them select songs that automatically select shuffle, and that's all it was.
Wow.
That's what it
Shuffle
felt.
the man says.
Facts though.
That's how I felt. It was okay.
You sure you just wasn't there and his phone was jacked into something?
It could have been.
You know what? I've
Yeah,
seen some
that's
DJs do that before, but I'm not gonna say that. But I'm not gonna say who. But it could have very well been like
Right.
that.
Uh,
Yeah, it was very
yeah.
playlist,
Right.
like pre-playlist done.
So
Not for the crowd.
for you to go to that party, for it to be you're paying last and you still have time to go to the band launch. Like what time was this?
Party was from 5 to 12, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it was the early
Yeah.
vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So because okay.
So we didn't
Which
get
was-
there till about 9:30.
Yeah, it
and
was
then
Yeah.
Okay, so then, and the band launch went until what time?
5.
5.
Oh shit!
But we left there about 4 because we were.
Yeah,
doing-
busted.
Oh, jeez.
Especially him.
Yeah.
But I mean, the point of all that, like,
Mainly me, actually. I was the party pooper.
I was
for
ready.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you were.
Oh, were you?
But I played the night. I went after the guy, and I used that as an opportunity. I said, "This makes my job easier, to be honest, because I could come here and play whatever I want, and
Right. Clean slate.
knowing how I have authority on the mic and could maneuver the party, I can mash this up easy."
Right.
Which, lo and behold, is what I did. And the people had a great time. They were dancing around, and I was mingling, talking to certain people. It was through the mic. It was the perfect vibe.
Nice.
Pran came to me after, and he said how his brethren who was there with us said, "Bro, it's literally like night and day."
Yeah.
Big guy.
And like the DJ before him didn't care about us. Like he was just kind of playing, but you came there and like made it something.
Yeah, exactly.
Which
yeah.
is what I do,
Right.
you know, and that felt good, like a reinforcing feeling.
Especially
to
when
say-
you're not in your your local. You're right. You're
Exactly.
cross-pond,
And I not only played soca, I played reggae too, which is
Okay.
something I don't normally do, but
Right,
I did that to a certain level that the ladies loved, and
Nice.
the people they're generally just loved.
Yeah.
So that was a good reinforcement of like I'm doing the right thing. And even further than that, his boy said, because he's getting married, his boy,
Oh, okay.
he said,
Okay.
"Yo, can he play on my wedding?" Like he's
What?
really good. So
Must
that's
be-
how these things, like the opportunities, just roll in.
He sprinkled something on Busby, boy.
But-
you ready for that, boy?
If I was a promoter and I saw the two DJs playing, I'd be pissed. I'd be like, why did you play like that?
Yeah.
Why didn't you play like how this guy played?
Wow.
Like, what am I paying you for?
Right.
This is real shit, real stuff.
It was- yeah.
But then, as I said, that party was the only thing I thought was going on for the weekend.
Okay.
I didn't realize there was anything else.
Yeah.
Next thing, now everybody's talking amongst each other. Oh, where are we going after this?
Yeah.
Let we go bust pepper.
Pepper
Bust
band
pepper.
launch.
Yeah.
Wow.
Come to find out, there's a big band launch.
Yeah.
Enough people.
Yeah.
A lot of industry figures are there.
Right.
Go in this place now. It's packed. And I'm just like, yo. And people coming and tapping me like, "Are you Busby?" It was crazy. And some of these people are not people I don't know that just follow me.
Yeah, sure.
Even one of them was like, "How long are you here?" I said, "I'm here till next week. I mean, I'm here till
I like
Tuesday."
the accent. I like the accent.
Gotta one in Rome.
Don't encourage him.
One in Rome.
Nonsense.
He tried to talk like somebody from London the other year when he was on the podcast pre-lime. He sounded like he was from Australia when he was trying to do the accent.
He's incorrect.
But let's not go there right now.
The shrimp on the barbie.
Yeah.
The dingo ate my baby.
The guy said, "Yo, if you're here for a certain amount of time, I wish you were here till next Saturday because my band launch is next Saturday. I would have put you on that." So like those things happen, and it was the face to face with people,
right,
where those things could not have happened.
Because you're supposed to go back, right? You're going back. You're going back, so now you can set more stuff up.
So a lot of this was planting seeds for that,
right?
And that was crazy.
Good.
Next day, now if we're just specifically talking parties, the next day I went to another party called Sunday.
Yeah,
I went to Olympia, which is how we have sunset up here.
Oh wow!
Like a scale down.
Best weekend, boy.
Bro, I didn't know these things were happening.
It's sunset, one of the biggest events for the summer.
But not to that scale, but like it's a growing version of that.
Okay.
And that party was and wicked vibes.
You had to go get clothes.
Yeah, boy.
Must be on these clothes thing. Black shirt.
I got it. No, but I didn't even dress to the code.
Oh, you know?
I didn't read the flyer properly. Apparently it was pastel colors.
Oh yeah.
I'm there in cheetah print and a black vest. I'm like, okay, clearly somebody didn't tell me the memo, or I didn't
read the memo,
which is the case. I normally don't read that stuff, but anyway, it was nothing.
All right.
I get in there now. Even bigger players in the game are in this building.
Okay.
And my boys now, who like Pajo,
right,
Tates, etc., they are bringing me to these people.
This is Buzz.
Buzz from Toronto.
Right.
Yeah, what's going on? Blah blah blah. I have this fet. I do this.
Wow.
Let me exchange Instagrams.
Yeah. So let me ask: is there like you get the sense there's a tight community among the promoters there? Or
tight in terms of like they know each other's whereabouts and what they're doing. Yes.
Yeah.
In terms of togetherness, I don't think so. But I feel like every community is like that.
Okay.
There's always going to be the dog eat dog
competition and
competition.
Okay.
But that was another avenue where it's like I couldn't have prayed for opportunities like this. And you can't do what I did. I shouldn't say you can't. It's very unlikely that you could do what I did in carnival time.
Right.
Because everybody is pace.
100%.
So that opportunity alone was a seed for that carnival time.
Okay.
Which I couldn't have got online.
Right.
So that was amazing.
Wow.
A funny story. I know we're supposed to get to the funny story. The same band launch.
Yeah.
So one of them ladies on stage presenting. Farm, and you saw the post where I put the wedding ring? No?
Maybe not.
Anyway, I take my phone and I zoom into the one on stage because I see she and that's my type. So I see the curly hair and thing. So I zoom in on my phone, doing the Instagram stories, and then I put the little emoji, a wedding ring on top of her.
Oh, wow.
Just to say as a joke, marry me, please. So cute.
Okay, what?
Later on
unless he plays well, remember that one, you know?
No, hear the story now. Later on in the night, she passes by me to go to the bar. I see her by the bar. Next thing, she's talking to this man for how long?
Okay.
So I'm standing there waiting for my chance. I'm mingling with Prawn.
Patience.
And I say patience because he's bound to leave.
Right.
About 10, 15 minutes later, he finally gets out of there.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, it's my time to shine now. Let's go. So I go up to her. I'm like, excuse me, are you the model from the stage?
Right.
She said, yeah.
Yeah.
So I pull out my phone and I show her the wedding ring. Yo,
smooth.
She could not stop laughing.
Smooth, Buzz.
She telling me all kind of information that I didn't ask. Talk about, I kind of like London. It's okay. But I really hate Americans. One thing I love those Canadians. Okay. And she telling me, come kiss my cheek and shit. And she's like, make sure I take my number. Not my Instagram, my number. So that was a random.
Buzz at a time.
It was fun, and he's looking at me from afar like,
please,
this guy get through.
Representing.
I was like, good job, because always glad to see your friends get through, right?
Yeah. So I got the information and thing, and that's good vibes. Yeah, some sexy things out there, bro. That London accent melts my heart like you wouldn't believe. From the right sexy London thing.
Right.
Just standing there listening to them. I'm not even listening to them. I'm just like.
The accent don't cure busted though.
You see?
I just saying. How strong is this magic with the accent? If my thing is a 5 and you're talking English accent, they're going up to what?
No. That's why I said they have to be sexy first.
Oh, yeah, you sexy first. All right.
I still like the accent otherwise, but
Okay.
if you're sexy and then you speak an accent, it's like it's literally like the Jafar holding the snake up to Aladdin and zoning him out.
Holy
And it's like,
cow.
this is
ladies,
refreshing.
boy.
What
Buzz
Aladdin
these
right
ladies.
now.
It's a refreshing
Nothing wrong with that.
view and
Single man.
you know everybody has
Out
their
there
weird
mingling.
quirks, you know,
Right.
the things they like, and that's one of them for me.
Gotcha.
Otherwise, yeah, mingled with a lot of ladies, got different numbers. The ladies that I knew there bubbled on them like you wouldn't
Right.
believe.
Right.
So it was just fun times. And, you know, the networking aspect of things, which is bringing us back to the start of what we were talking about, that is key for me.
Right.
Being able to be there and actually speak with people face to
100%.
face is a whole different thing than these
And
phones.
it's good that you are able to like experience that firsthand.
Yeah.
You know, the difference between talking to someone online and creating relationships online, and then actually being physically. That's what this whole golfing thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People,
Yeah,
you know,
business and
yeah,
real golf,
business
yeah.
and contacts and how much
Exactly.
businesses does during lunch. And
Mm-hmm.
for someone who's in the corporate world, I was like, what? But
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
this is a real time example of the
Exactly.
difference of how you communicate and how you connect with someone live,
Yeah.
as opposed to just picking up a phone or whatever.
Very important
Yeah.
stuff. And I mean,
Yeah, building relationships, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
very important.
Mhm.
And Pran, you could share your view on it too. But the next day or the final day, I was in London. DJ Tate, big up Tate.
Okay.
He came and picked us up. Yeah, he's a big deal out there.
Okay.
When I say his Juve has like 5,000,
He's
6,000.
like a Toronto Busby kind of.
Yeah, I'm still working to get there.
Nah,
type guy.
he's like the man in charge for a lot of stuff.
There's like
Oh.
his Juve has 5,000-6,000 people type big.
Dang.
Yeah, it's a
Gotcha.
big deal.
Gotcha.
So he came and picked us up
Right.
to come and take us out on the last night to go and
What?
get food.
Nice.
And then
Nice dude,
somebody,
nice guy, yeah.
Hmm?
I'm saying definitely a nice dude because he didn't have to do that at all because
Exactly.
it was a Monday night, right? So people,
okay.
he has to work the next day, and he's just like, no, we're gonna,
we're gonna do this.
yeah, because
Nice.
it's your last day. So
the neck, and he messaged me asking. I ain't even, and I couldn't thank him enough.
Right.
A next guy, he owns a brand called Live Love Soca. You probably seen the shirt in passing, maybe,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
very popular brand in the UK and the world. But he's growing, and he has like 60,000 followers on Instagram, type big. Like
Wow.
this is a big deal.
Yeah.
So they know what they're doing, and I just sat there, and as I said earlier, I shut up for the most part, I would say, and I listened.
Right.
And the stuff that just we were conversating about and speaking amongst each other about, like, what would you say?
in regards to what?
Like just the conversations that we had, because I know you had an opinion. Like,
Well, it was
you're
interesting
glad
because
to see that they
because
liked.
It was,
you know?
it was interesting. The first part of it, I don't make it too much of a long story, but I make stories long. But we went out to the O2 Arena, and we just walked around, just talking random nonsense, and we went to have food, went to Nando's, and we just sat down. We started having a conversation about different things, about just life and just like work and what we do and what we did and different things. And then I got into the soca and the fet scene and whatnot. And I think that was really good from a perspective of two outsiders, seeing how the London and the English, I should say not even just London, but England as a whole, how their fet scene is so, I don't want to say behind, but it's not, you would think it'd be a lot further ahead than it is. So I mean in terms of events. So like
type of events or the size of events?
both.
Both.
Oh. You think from a country
Uh-huh.
that has such a large diaspora of
Right.
West Indians,
Right.
you think that they would be second to a Trinidad outside of the West Indies. You think they'd be second. You wouldn't think Toronto or Miami would have such larger scale events than them, because you had West Indians that were being there since Windrush in the 50s.
True enough.
I think it was 50s, right? For Windrush.
True enough.
So you've had them there for many decades now.
Right.
Yet their fet scene is still evolving and becoming much larger and larger.
Right.
You compare what we do here. I say we. I mean, the
Oh,
Toronto
we,
fet
we,
scene,
sure,
right? You can say
sure,
we.
yeah,
Toronto
yeah,
fet scene in terms of having
absolutely,
like outdoor events.
Yeah.
Take a look at Miami and they have outdoor events and they have festivals and
Right.
whatnot, right? And to them, that's kind of a new concept. Having like an outdoor Juve. Look how long we've had Look how long we've had Juve in June.
Right.
Right. Look how
exactly,
long
yeah,
we've
yeah.
had that type of events, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
something that's kind of newer to them and whatnot, right? From the discussions that I had with some of them was interesting. It's rooted a little bit in racism
Yeah.
and their parents having limited abilities to do things and not being allowed to do certain things.
That was a
I
very
was going to
important
ask,
point.
yeah, exactly. What are the
So-
determining factors?
So
right?
them growing up,
Yeah.
seeing that their parents couldn't do these things, and their parents kind of saying, "Oh, you can't do that," because they won't let you do these things.
Yeah.
They were kind of
hesitant.
Yeah, hesitant.
To approach,
discouraged to try to do different things, right? So they were
yeah.
kind of in a box
Yeah.
of if you want to do an event, you're going to do a FET at these type of events, these type of clubs that will let you do these events, and we'll limit you to 400 people. That's what you're allowed to do, and you stay within this box. And then it wasn't until I guess Tate and some other people came and said.
So they're relating those stories to you as a fact.
Yes,
like
because I'm asking.
You're probing to see exactly
because they're saying that these are like new events and and I'm just like, how is this new to you?
You're right.
How is this new to you? Like if we just look at any West Indian, any carnival place will mimic, let's say Trinidad, because Trinidad is considered the Mecca, right? So we see in Trinidad, we mimic here. We see Trinidad has a big outdoor event. We do something similar here. We see them. When we see Trinidad has certain type of costumes, we're having them all over places in the same thing of peppered in, right? But I was like, how could you not see this happening in the West Indies? Right. These huge events in festivals in outdoor venues, and you not trying the same thing for years now. For years, never trying it. Right. And that's when we found out about Tate and how his whole thing evolved and making, I guess it's called the Dreamland Juve.
Like
I think I've seen videos of that.
And the areas that he does it is in farmlands, which are predominantly owned by that culture, the Caucasian people out there. Right. And what Live Love Soca had said, the individual representing them, he said the original people that are the pioneers of this industry that paved the way, so to speak, because the industry and just the terrain in general is so deep rooted in racism. That wasn't even an option to them back then. Right. Now that things have alleviated and there's still that, but a lot less of it, and opportunities now where like presented itself,
bigger and bigger stuff outside.
Tate, who's not from there,
that was a big thing.
Went in with an open mind from outside. So, because I was talking to Pran about it too, like in a general industry, the consistent thing that I normally see is there's the top figures. And a vast majority, like the massive people under them, are looking up to try to figure that out. Okay. They're never looking either like past that or far past that.
To try to get to that point.
To try to get to
that's the goal, is to get to that. I see that person, I want to become that person. Right. I'm thinking I want to surpass that person.
What else is possible?
Yeah, and I think, and even if some people say they want to surpass, they think surpass in terms of, okay, this person's event does 1,000 people. I want to do 1,100 people. That's the way they think of surpassing, but don't think of surpassing in terms of a scale of a whole completely different concept as a whole. That's what they're not thinking.
So now things down there are opening up, right? But it was just the enlightening conversation, and hearing those perspectives and understanding why certain things are the way they are.
That's why I always say that we're so lucky here in Toronto. We take Toronto for granted, but trust me, I know. To be able to have access to a soca party Friday, Saturday, Sunday, on any kind of level. I mean, when I was still like back and forth to Trinidad a lot, I still had friends and so on. I would say like, yo guys, you guys don't know. If you love soca, come to Toronto. You know what I mean? Jump out to Trinidad. We have parties right through, and we have choices. You have choices. So
you can make moves. And it was a very enlightening conversation and
long conversation.
Definitely long.
It was. We were, because I think the place closed at 10.
They were probably happy to be able to even to talk it out. Talk and also who else is going to ask in depth.
And also because I was asking questions that were like you said, the questions that where they were able to educate me, and I was going there and coming and asking these questions as someone who's ignorant to that whole scene. Right. So it's like I'm a sponge at that point. I'm asking questions that are very simple, but they're good because they get to explain why. And most of my questions were just literally just why. Like why can you do that? Like why? I don't get it. Why?
The why
and,
things.
And they were just like trying to explain the whole history and everything. And I was just like, okay, but why? Like why couldn't you just go to a field and just you see a Trinidad do it, you see a Barbados do it, like why? And they would go further into it, and then they went into more depth of like you said, figureheads and how I don't know how deep we can go into it, but meetings of certain people and how people would say it, have meetings with different promoters. And promoters are saying like, you can't do that, you cannot do that, don't even try to do that. Right. And it's interesting, like, why not? And it's like, no, we were told we can't do that. And these are not from people. These are not. We're told that they've tempted stuff, or they've already been told that they can't do that. So don't even bother waste your time with it. So, but yeah, we were there for a long time. At least like two plus hours of conversation.
Yeah, no, minimum.
Yeah, enough to where like security was there. Like, we got kicked out of the restaurant.
Right.
The O2 arena closed. We're like out on the street now, just talking. Yeah, we were.
In total, it was about a good 4 or 5 hours, just generally just
talking,
speaking amongst each other, and
exchanging
it was
information, man.
and
Got back to
nonstop valuable
Go
conversation.
back to the hotel. Hotel was locked.
Yeah. but no, and the only thing.
Hotel, they want to stay 5 stars.
Well, the
Locked
hotel,
window.
the hotel's gated, by the way, because you know it's 5 stars. The hotel is actually a gated area.
Okay.
So, but when we got through the gate,
Prawn, I see you, Prawn.
hey, company paid for it.
Hey,
It was
man.
me. It was me. 1.5 star, if that hostel for me. But anyways,
It's not how you get there. You
Yeah,
were there.
it's-
You were there.
that's
You
how
were
you
there.
operate.
frugal.
Cheap.
Yeah.
That's how he operates.
No hot buns for you.
Yeah. Again, just being able to sit and actually speak with these people in person, amazing. And as he said, we spoke for a while. The only thing stopping that conversation was the fact that they had to work the next day.
Wow.
Otherwise, we probably would have been there till wee hours in the
good.
morning.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
And it was, to me, like I know me being in it,
Right.
it was just a fluent conversation
Yeah,
that
no,
I was just engulfed in.
Right.
So I'm not even thinking about the time. I'm just
Yeah.
like, wow.
Yeah. Good.
And I'm taking in all the information. I can't asking questions and just listening and absorbing.
And that was the best thing.
Sharing my own perspectives as well,
Sure.
just to show that I'm not just, I have my own
It
vision
goes.
on things.
It almost goes. You weren't here for this part. We were talking about sort of communities and creating platforms where you can just sit and have long form communication or conversations just among ourselves, share experiences and see what have you gone through that I can learn from, and vice versa, right?
Exactly.
So here's a situation where it happened, and look how much value has come from it. You know what I mean? So
I think one of the best things that Buzz did was like he said, he just stood back and listened. They were having an in-depth conversation about almost like a disagreement, I would say they were having, right?
A little debate.
Debate. That's a good way of saying it. And then just standing back, letting them go back and forth, and then just picking up all the gems that they're leaving in terms of certain things. And then I think that was probably one of the better things was just and then me asking the why.
Yeah.
I think that's probably what kind of helped the conversation keep going and going and going, but just learning so much about their whole history of things and whatnot. Like,
because clearly that's a path I'm going down. Like
Right.
I'm going to be. It's not even a question at this point. Knowing how I mingled and the connections I have there,
Yeah.
that's going to be a consistent thing for me.
What's also very impressive is that Soca
Yeah,
is a platform in which you can leave Toronto, go to a different country, and have a community waiting to not only support you but celebrate you,
embrace you. Yeah.
embrace you, wine on you,
yes,
embrace
that's a
you.
fact.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I mean, Soca is the platform, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it's
That's the
genre
love
of music.
Yeah.
Whining is a love language.
Yeah, and I can't be thankful enough for that.
Yeah,
You know,
nice.
and overall, besides the parties and stuff, Pran and I got some time to like sit down and talk. We haven't had that recently in a while.
Gotcha.
Like this is as
Catch
much
up
as
on
much as
life.
we joke around and
Right. You guys, I don't know if you're
we're
you guys-
longtime friends.
Yeah, I don't know. You went to school together?
No, like
I,
20
I let Buzz be my friend.
You let-
Yeah.
We all have one of those. Yeah, one guy you let in just because.
So it's funny enough. It's,
Pause,
it's actually so good.
I just make
So he can make those type of jokes, but I can't make those type of jokes.
clarity.
that needed to be said. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was saying in terms of the history of Buzz and I, I guess you could say Soca brought us together somewhat.
Right.
I'm the reason he's with his wife right now.
Well, look at thing.
Yeah.
You-
Talk to Prod.
No,
Prod,
no,
Prod,
not him,
Prod,
not him,
Prod,
not
Prod,
him, not
Prod.
him.
His wife
No.
met at my
Right.
event. No.
No, we met on Twitter first.
Okay, now the story changes.
We
All
met
of a
on-
sudden, the story
we
changes.
met in person at your fete.
Yeah.
But we
I'll
met
get
on
Buzz
Twitter.
this one, huh?
Yeah.
But we,
You
but
met
we,
in person. That is fed.
What did I say
No, he's
earlier?
right.
In person is
In
always
person-
bigger than that. You see, everything.
We
comes
had
back.
to stick to the rules that we established. In person is everything.
Pattern cycle. Pattern
that's
cycle.
what I'm
Yeah.
I guess the last time we really, I think how we became real close friends was through Trinidad. Actually, that's
We went to Trinidad one year.
2015.
2015.
Okay.
And it was literally like one of those where there was a group of 7 of us going,
Right.
and then everybody flopped when it was time to buy everything.
I know that's.
And then it ended up being 3 of us,
Alright.
and me and him really
Buzz,
got
yeah,
bonded.
And everyone, the funny thing is, everyone thought that would be the problem.
Yeah.
Like we went with Prawn. Oh, I don't know about that. You
Yeah,
gotta be
we-
careful. You gotta be
we Trinidad with
careful.
Prawn,
You gotta
boy.
be careful with him. You gotta be careful with him.
Alright,
Turns out,
solid.
we're
Yeah,
solid, and we
solid.
really got a chance to bond, and life happens
Yeah,
after
this
that.
is- this is
And we
true.
kept in touch.
Yeah.
I'm the guide daughter, and if you don't know what
Guide
that
father.
the guide father.
The what?
I'm the guide father of his daughter.
Guide father.
Yeah, but so for those of you that don't know that term, like godfather, but if you're not religious, in his case, it's guide father
okay.
as opposed to
He's gonna
Godfather.
guide you through your life.
Sounds
and whatnot,
native
right?
to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different,
I
but
got you,
it is what like that's you know we
I
could
like
say
it
that's-
actually because
but
not
we-
everybody has that. Because the position of a godfather, I mean, as it's supposed to be, is a substitute in case anything happens,
Yeah.
right? But you shouldn't, because you're not religious, it shouldn't prohibit you from accessing that energy, right?
Yeah,
Having
exactly.
someone and giving them that authority. So,
Yeah,
buzz boy.
yeah.
You know what? And before that, I had to talk to his sister, and I was like,
yeah, boy.
I was like, I don't know
buzz
about
boy.
having.
know.
Yeah, she gave the okay. She said
She
said
did
he's-
it.
she said he's good with his niece, and I was like,
What is this?
I was like, it's true though. It's true though. It's true though.
I reach my mind now, you know.
These are true stories because my wife was pregnant. We were at one of his fetes, and she was
Right.
pregnant, and his sister was there, and I pulled his sister aside, and we had a discussion about it.
Right.
You know, so
He's all right. He's all right guy.
yeah,
It's okay.
All right.
But we got a chance to, you know, hang out and bond. And on top of that, he was dealing with a lot of stress with work. So
Right.
being able to come back to the hotel and vent with somebody and just speak in general
Right,
was
right,
like
yeah,
alleviating to him. We got a chance to hang. We did a
Yeah.
little sightseeing.
Right.
Bond, and on
How,
top of
what
those
year is
things-
this? What is it? He's 15.
Oh, the Trinidad trip?
Trinidad, yeah.
2015.
Yeah, okay. But
So-
you're going back to England now. What are you talking
This-
about?
yeah, this right here is
okay,
England.
Yeah.
You know, we had that
Right, so
opportunity.
you're gonna bond
beside-
again because
yeah.
your life happens, so then you
So
take the
that,
trip,
that
thing.
and all was good, and it all panned
Right,
out
right.
how it was supposed to. I think we
Yeah.
had maybe one or half of a rough day, where like it seemed like everything was going wrong.
Roti
that day.
involved with that or?
No, bad soup or
soup.
decent soup.
The ramen
decent,
wasn't that bad.
Decent soup.
I
I've
should
had
take
much better.
that back about roti.
Yeah.
I think we've grown out of that. They solved that problem.
Yeah. Let's hope. What was it? So that morning we were rushing to go see the changing of the guards, and we have free breakfast at the hotel. So we say, let me go get.
We should go back because we partied the night before. We
Yeah.
didn't eat anything, right?
Oh.
So we kind of a little bit hungover a little
right,
bit.
right.
So we're gonna have breakfast.
To fortify. Yeah. Soak up all the.
We go to the free breakfast. We put in our order, so we give ourselves about half an hour to get the food, eat it, and then we go. We put in the order. The whole half an hour passes, and we're there like, "Where's our food?"
So you're sitting in the hotel restaurant.
Yeah, and she comes like 20 minutes later, like, "Where's your food?"
She's asking you where your food
Yeah,
is.
she's like, "I put in the order."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Seriously?"
Men
Then
in
she-
England. Black men
Yeah,
in
exactly. But
They were always good before that. It was just that
it was
one
that day. It was
Yeah.
extra busy for whatever
Yeah.
reason, but.
Yeah.
She submitted the order now, but then it's still taking long.
Yeah,
And then we had to go. So we're like, listen, cancel the order. Forget it. We go now to the we go to the Buckingham Palace, take our pictures and whatnot.
Right.
The changing of the guards was a bit of a weird process. It wasn't like A, B, C, D, like we kind of expected. So that was a little weird. Then afterwards, we're like, okay, we're hungry now. Let's at least go on the bus and then try and find food. We go to the hop on, hop off bus. I don't know if you're familiar.
No.
So it's a bus where like you pay to go on it, and it's a tourist bus that will take you around the city. And then there's hop on, hop off. So there's different subsections
so once you
of the
pay
city.
once, you can go on
Yeah,
and off.
Yeah, you
with
can,
that
you
as
can come
go
off, you can go sightsee, go
right,
back on the bus, take you
on.
around
And
another
there's-
part. Yeah.
5 like subsections within the city or whatnot.
And there's a tour guide on there telling you about the area that you're in, and
Yeah.
and there's an open the top journey. The top is gonna be open, so there's two levels, so you can be out there and feel the breeze
See
and see
the-
everything, take some good pictures and whatnot. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so we do that, and I knew about it first because I've been on it. So I said, let's go. I go now. The bus is almost packed. Me and Prana are the last two. So I go. He says, I asked, how much is it? He tells me the price. I say, okay. Like it was like 40 pounds for
Yeah,
me.
mine was 50
But
something.
he bought a 2-day pass, and that was 60 pounds.
Okay.
I go tap now, go on the bus. I pick up 2 headphones because they give you headphones to put in the thing to listen. Take the headphones. I go to our seat upstairs. Boy, I find some nice, sweet, pretty things. I sit down next to them. I save a seat by prawn. I say, we good. So not only do we have that entertainment, we have this information. That entertainment. You understand?
Right.
So I say, okay, we good. Next thing I feel the bus start to pull off.
All right.
So I look down.
I haven't paid yet. I'm like,
Guys, hop
like,
on,
I'm-
hop off.
I'm like, Buzz.
No, the
He's-
guy was still processing his
Yeah.
payment,
So
he could tap to pay.
oh,
Yeah.
got you.
But by the time he's doing all
so
of
that's
that,
not the driver. It's two separate
it's,
people.
it's the driver's fault because he's like,
No, but the driver, the ticket taker, are two different.
no, 2 different people.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
but they
okay,
work
okay.
together, right?
I
They work
got you.
together.
No,
Yeah. So the bus pulls off now, and I'm saying, "Hey,
I'm
excuse me."
I'm like, Buzz. He's
Listen,
like,
listen.
Prawn.
Even the guy selling him the ticket knocked on the glass,
He's like,
Oh,
wait.
wait.
and the
Go
bus
one
driver,
more.
what did he do?
He's like, It's one of these.
One of those guys.
One of those.
Yeah.
Bro, I lost my shit.
Yeah.
The guy who he was with luckily yelled at him because otherwise, honestly, in the mental state I was at that point, I wouldn't have known what to do.
Yeah.
The guy yelled at me. He's like, just get off at the next stop. And then you could wait for him at the next stop. But I'm like, okay, what the
that doesn't make
so
any
as
sense.
I get off at the first stop, as I'm getting off the bus, I turn to him like, yo, when people tell you to stop, stop.
Yeah.
And then I storm off the bus and he's calling me back. Like, hey, excuse me. I'm like, ain't nothing to talk about.
Right.
My friends there waiting with two of us together. What if we didn't have our phone?
Yeah,
What if something happened? I'm in a whole completely different country.
It's the anxiety of it, because if some people suffer from anxiety, right?
Yeah,
and if I was separate from
it's
someone,
also unnecessary.
yeah. If I'm separated from someone, I don't have, let's say I don't have my phone, like you said, or just anxiety of being in a foreign country. I might freak out, right?
Absolutely.
And what would that have taken? Another 20 seconds for him to tap his card?
If that.
So that really upset me.
Yeah.
Then we go now and get food after the tour. We couldn't even do the tour. So we
Not
paid.
even that. We did the tour. We're on the bus. Still upset because he got off at the stop, and the next bus that I got on, 10 to 15 minutes later, got there. We're on the bus. So now we're on the same bus now.
Yeah.
My headphone jack thing isn't working. None of them are working. Whatever. It's cold as well, but I'm already heated, so I'm just leaving it. And then as we're going around, there's a marathon happening as well. So some of the streets were cut off, right?
Yeah.
So there were some diversions here and there and then whatnot. So some of the stuff we didn't get to see, whatever. Yeah. Going around, and then I see ramen. And Buzz and I have this thing about ramen because when we were in Trinidad, we didn't really have much food to get. We would just go get ramen, and we just literally have our night sessions talking about life over ramen.
You know, little pack soups.
Ramen is.
Yeah.
No. Because there's the ramen like in stores where it's like the full meal with the egg in it. And
okay.
thing.
No.
No, this is
the
seasoning. It's like that, right?
Break it in half.
That's Trinidad.
Save it in half. See, he's more frugal than me.
I was a student of $20 a week.
I know that life. Yeah. So whenever Buzz and I we bond and we have ramen, we just some ramen food and just talk, right? There's a thing with us. So I see up, it's like, oh, there's a thing there. Let's go get off and so I tap the bell. I'm like, can we get off? And can we get off now? The guy's like, yeah, then get off the next stop. I go, what's the stop? Green Park. I'm like, Green Park. We just got on at Green Park. All we did was a full circle. That's all we did.
And we had to pay
$100.
$100 each.
One circle. That's all that we did. And I was just like, yeah, I'm done with this whole thing. I'm done with that.
And we didn't even need. We could have walked from where we originally
We literally
were
could have
to catch the
walked
bus
back a
just
block
to get the ramen.
Yeah.
And we would have seen the part of the city that I wanted him to see off of the bus anyway.
Right.
By walking there. I didn't realize. So I was like, that was upsetting. Then it's a long wait for the ramen.
Oh God.
We get the ramen. It's not even that good. It was decent. He liked his. I didn't really. I'm accustomed to better ones up here.
This is Monday morning at this point.
Monday?
Yeah. It's Monday. Yeah. No, Sunday.
Sunday?
Sunday morning. Yeah, because of the weekend. I wasn't working.
Okay,
I had my week. I was off. Yeah.
And then I still have to go home now and sleep for the party that night.
Right.
Because I only got an hour sleep the night before. Yeah. He had to go now to what?
I had to go to a town called Daharbi. And it's I have a distant cousin. I guess my grandmother's cousin. It's my third cousin, and I've never met her before. And she lives out there. And I was told, like, family tells me, oh, you have a cousin in London. I'm like, okay, cool. I go look at this place 3 hours away.
Gosh.
And I'm like, but you know what? I'm gonna go. I haven't seen this person. I never met this person before my life.
Yeah.
I want to. I'm there. I want to. The sites will remain.
Connect,
The sites will be there. I want to go visit this person.
Connect.
So after Buzz goes his way,
right.
I go to use the washroom because I'm like, if I'm gonna be on this long train, I'll make sure that I'm okay.
Right.
First in the bathroom takes like 15 minutes, whatever. So I finally get out. I go catch the subway. I go to the train station. The train is at 2:50. Right.
Yeah.
I get there at 2:47. I'm gonna go and buy my ticket. Looking for this train. Can't see this train. I said, where's the 2:50? Oh, it left early. When's the next train? 4 p.m.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
And you already bought the ticket?
I didn't buy the ticket yet, but I'm like, I would already call my cousin, said I'm going to come there and see her.
Oh, God.
So
now
I got to wait. Catch at 4 o'clock. It's another 2+ hour to get up there and get there by like 7 o'clock.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, okay. And I still have to work the next morning now at 9.
Oh,
so I'm like, I'm just gonna end up sleeping there. I'm sleeping there, and I'm gonna get up at 6 o'clock and get the train to come back. And then of course I told Buzz, I'm like, I'll get some sleep on the train because we didn't we didn't really get much sleep. We
Right.
got in at 5 o'clock and got up at like 8 or so.
Those are the stories of international travel.
Well, here's the thing
That's
though.
what
So
happens,
I'm just
guy.
sitting. I'm just
Yeah.
sitting down in my seat.
Yeah.
I'm getting ready to have a nap soon. A lady comes on with her baby strapped. I'm like, all right, cool. then another kid comes along. I'm like, cool. Then the man comes on with his son. I'm like, cool. They all sit there. I'm like, cool. 5 of them sitting there. Good job. The train starts moving. The whole train, right? I'm just like, lovely. I had noise canceling headphones, but I couldn't cancel that noise.
Wow.
So that happened to him. He sent me a voice note of the babies crying and thing. I'll play the voice note in the
You guys had a movie, guy.
bro.
You guys had
And while that was
twists
happening
and
to him,
turns, yeah.
whole time the subway is running good. Whole time. The moment I leave the ramen spot to go on the subway, why do I get down in the subway? The subway is packed shoulder to shoulder
Wow.
and it's not working.
Huh.
I had to stand there for like 15, 20 minutes on the subway. Like,
Because
what
you go
is
to
this?
the party.
Hmm?
Because
No, I'm going back to the hotel now to
Okay,
sleep for the
sleep.
party.
For the
Yeah.
party. Oh,
But I need to
yeah,
sleep.
Yeah, true.
So I get to the subway and I'm like, finally, I only had an hour's sleep last night.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get at least 4 or 5
Right,
hours.
hours.
Subway
Catch up.
shut down.
Damn.
And then he's like, I'm like, this is what's happening to me right now. Are you like, we've had such a horrible day and this
Right.
again?
Yeah.
Then he sends me the voice note of what's going on with him.
You thought you had it bad.
Exactly.
You're
So I'm
just
like,
waiting.
yeah.
And there was a protest.
Then I'm trying to sleep now.
What?
3 o'clock in the afternoon, I hear a megaphone. Da, 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 da. And then a whole crowd behind them. Da, 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 da. Are you kidding me right now?
Got you.
I eventually just I think I put on headphones and I knocked out.
Yeah.
That's why I was late for that party, but boy. Either way, guys, that was the trip to London. Want to thank Prawn.
Very eventful.
You see him? And I thanked the first day I got there, I thanked him for the hotel stay.
Go ahead.
Now, with the whole situation, remember he said about the 2-3 hours that he had to go to his cousin?
Yeah.
And that was a train. He didn't know the price of the train.
Right.
So while we're sitting there at ramen, the man pull up the price of the train now, 100-something pounds to go,
Yeah.
which is like
Yeah.
$200+. So we sitting at the ramen now. I say, you know what? I feel bad for the man. I'll pay for the ramen. You go your way and pay for your.
Right,
even though he getting per diem from work, huh?
I hear you.
But I pay for the bill.
Yeah.
All now the man ain't say thank you, huh?
The ramen wasn't very
Prawn.
good. It wasn't very good. That's why I didn't say thank you.
This
Wasn't good. Wasn't good. It was mediocre ramen.
All right, guys, that was the London trip. Want to
nice,
thank Prod
man.
again
All right, Prawn.
for the opportunity. You know, that was a life-changing experience, and you didn't even. We both didn't realize that's how it was going to
Not
be.
at all.
Yeah.
It literally just turned into that.
Yeah.
And I appreciate him for being the avenue for that to happen.
Things
Sure.
aligned. Yeah.
Things really aligned. And
Nice.
he saw that firsthand. Like,
Yeah.
another thing I was telling another friend, he hasn't really got a chance to see me play the way that I do
This is Prawn.
in a party. Yeah. Like recently.
Oh,
Because
okay.
I've developed my skills over the year.
Got you.
And
Okay.
I've done a certain level of the craft
Right.
where he's been there to see it. But he hasn't seen what he saw at that
the
point.
latest.
I don't
version
go out
of
very.
Busby.
I don't go out very much. I'm always with my
Yeah.
daughter.
Yeah,
So
got you,
daughter
got
and
you.
wife, and just
I
I need to get
So
out
he
more.
got a chance to see that, and that was nice too. You know,
good.
and
good.
just witness me making these links that will be paramount in my
Right,
career later
right,
on.
right,
So
right.
all of that was nice, and again, I reinforced the point of
Those were some stories, guys.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been there. Yeah.
Yeah?
Very
No.
good. Very good.
and we appreciate all of you who
Yeah.
are still here listening and
Yeah.
finished with those
Catching
stories.
the vibes, man.
Yeah.
So it's like, it
The-
feels like
the
a
people's
pre.
pod-
No,
yeah.
it feels like a pre kind
Yeah,
of vibes to
Today's
but
vibes
it's
was
good. Nothing wrong with
definitely
that. Nothing wrong with that.
Not
You know
at
what
all.
I mean?
Not-
Yeah.
not
You're
all.
welcome again, though.
These guys.
I help your career. You're welcome.
Because of you.
Yeah, because of me. Because of me.
everything's
I
'cause
was
of
the. You said I was the avenue.
The catalyst.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Hey,
I
I
like
was
that. I like
there,
that word
yeah.
better. I like the catalyst. I was the catalyst.
All right, guys, that was another episode. No, but yes, thank you.
I'm actually. I told you before. I think it was on the last day when you were leaving that I was happy to see how things worked out, because it was initially we didn't expect this to happen, but just the way that things, just seeing things like organic relationships forming with him and other DJs and whatnot. And just like, and just even me standing back and just watching them have the conversations and in the car they're talking about the bookings and potential books. And I was just like, this is like.
Good.
To witness
Good
this is
stuff.
is
Yeah.
amazing, because I wouldn't expect any of this to happen. It was supposed to be just he's gonna come out for a few days, we do some sightseeing, we hang out, blah blah blah, and that's it. But to have this whole thing happen was just like amazing. And then it's one of those stories that you'll tell later on when he has his documentary come out on Netflix. Right?
Starring Prawn.
The background vocal.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Like Genius or Connie.
Yes, exactly. Right. That's me. I'm gonna be the guy. It's one of those. It'll be one of the parts of the documentary of of that journey and how this happened. Definitely.
Yeah.
Cool. For sure. And last, like to put a button on everything, just to reinforce, in person is paramount and it's very important when it comes to networking.
Yeah.
You know, that face-to-face interaction is key. And you know, full transparency, like you guys, I don't even need to be transparent. You guys heard the story, and if you read between the lines, I paid my way to go there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of these trips that I've done, I've been to Dubai, I've been to Trinidad, London before, and now London again. These are all experiences I paid my own way.
Wow. See?
And that is a valuable
Investing in yourself.
That's an investment.
investment and asset.
See, you have to see it as that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, see it as an
So a lot of
investment.
people will shy away at the fact, oh, well, I don't want to pay for that. I should be brought here.
Right.
Or I should be, like, somebody should be investing in me to be here.
Right.
And until that point comes, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Look at all the strides that I've made going away
Yep.
on my own dollar. Even New York, when I went for Kevin Crown's boat ride,
Okay.
I paid my way.
Wow. Yep.
Certain things where if people are good like Kevin Crown, they'll kick back a little money, especially if they've made.
Sure.
But the fact is that I paid my way to be in position, to be in the right
Investing
doors.
in yourself.
Yeah, and to be in the
it's
right
key,
rooms
man.
at the right time.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
And that is where, like, I want to leave all
And
of this.
situations repeat.
Yes.
So depending, regardless of what, regardless of what your dream is or your destination is for yourself,
Yeah.
the system is the same. Put
Facts.
yourself around people who are where you want to be.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I
And
mean? So-
the reason for me even being in London was off of an opportunity way before, like, the short version of it, because it's a much longer story. Somebody wanted a chance on my wet fit years back.
Okay.
This might have been the same 2015. He was with some girl up here and she asked me to get him on if possible. I said, you know what? Okay. I could have been that guy.
Right.
I could have said no. He came that day with an MC and he said, this is my MC. Again, I could have been that guy and said, I don't know who this is. I know you.
Yeah.
But I said, okay, y'all do your thing. Let them do their thing. Years later, JKD sees something that says Dubai Soca Weekend. And he says, Buzz, this will be a good look for you. Nobody's doing this. It looks sick.
Yeah. Soca weekend. Gotcha.
Lo and behold, who do you think is
What?
running the Soca Weekend in Dubai? The MC with his team. And that's a team from the UK.
Okay.
That trickled in to me mingling and getting in with people in the UK. When I was going to play with their band, again, I expensed myself.
Right.
But then JKD again sees this band called UCOM. And he says, give it a shot. They look good.
Right.
I didn't know nothing about UCOM.
Right.
We found out this weekend, I didn't know it was to this scale. They are the biggest band in the United Kingdom, period. When I linked them, it was, hey, I'm being Notting Hill. I'm just asking for an opportunity. My name is DJ Busby. The response email, we know exactly who you are. We listen to your podcast all the time.
See?
And it would be an honor.
Yeah.
Next thing I know, I'm looking at their Instagram.
All right.
The artist lineup, Marshall, Skinny, Patrice, Tedison.
Big things.
I said, what? And now Tate is telling me you in with them?
Oh.
Bro, keep it up because
Keep it
you're
up.
getting top dollar if you're going with them. No
Nice.
other bands could afford to pay you what they're probably going to pay you.
Gotcha.
So that's one, like,
See?
just see how these opportunities just come about and roll in.
Yeah.
But it's all about being in the right place at the right time, a hint of luck.
Yeah.
Because now I went back to the UK off season and got an opportunity to mingle with so many big players.
Gotcha.
And still I had those connections based off of that initial
Right.
moment when I decided not to be an ass and give somebody a chance.
Yeah.
So take these lessons from me and I haven't even seen the potential of what's going to happen. But it's
We
going
look
in that
forward
direction.
to seeing it, Buzz.
Facts.
All right. Do
So
your
we want to
thing.
thank you
Yeah.
guys
Yep.
so much for listening.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Farm, for filling in.
Anytime. Jay, hope you'll be back next weekend
Yes.
so I can sit back and drink and watch you guys do your thing.
Yeah. No, for sure. We got a lot of work to do. We got your segment coming in the
All right.
network. So
Sounds good.
a lot of stuff in the pipeline. Thank you again,
No
Prawn.
problem, man.
Thank you for
Thanks for taking
that
Buzz
weekend.
to the
Yeah.
Yeah, you see, people tag along with you, and sometimes you know.
At least I know how to say thank you. I mean,
I thank you for the disgusting ramen that you had.
Okay.
Give me.
You
Thank
see?
you.
All right, guys, that's enough. I've had enough. We will see you on next week's episode of the People Podcast. Follow us, like the post, comment,
Subscribe.
share, subscribe.
subscribe.
Thank you once again. It's the People's Podcast, and we out. Want to say peace?
Oh, for JKD.
Yeah.
Peace.